Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. We're just waiting for it. I'm Jenny Taft with Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, guys.
Hi, Jenny. How are you?
I'm good.
I don't have much to say today except, how about them Cowboys?
The Giants.
How about that Dak Prescott?
The Giants, Skip, really?
Shannon, he can't throw, and he probably made you throw up yesterday.
Really, Skip?
Really?
The
Giants.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I had a feeling we were going to come in yesterday. We had so much to get to over the weekend.
I've been trying to tell you. He's going to make you eat crow Monday after NFL Monday after NFL Monday, and I feel sorry for you.
Okay.
Because I love you, man.
One game. One game. This is where we are. One game. Remember now, one game.
It was the game.
Oh, no, it wasn't.
Whew.
No, it wasn't.
I'm going to break this table before this year
I'm
is
a little
over.
bit worried about it.
Either that or my hand.
Sure. We have so much to get to today. I promise we will dive deep into the Cowboys. And yes, it was a near perfect game for this guy, Dak Prescott. Yeah. We will talk about it, but first we got to start with Tom Brady and the Patriots, the reigning Super Bowl champions, continued right where they left off last season. Brady showed no signs of aging with over 300 yards passing, 3 touchdowns in the 33-3 win over the Steelers. All of this without newly signed All-Pro wide receiver Antonio Brown. Brady apparently said he'd let maybe stay at his house until he gets comfortable with his new team. After the game, Brady spoke more on getting his new teammate up to speed. Take a listen.
I think, like anything else, whether it was Josh last year or Phillip when he got here a few years ago late, and then, this year Antonio, how much can you learn and process and get in here, and we're all going to work hard and try to get up to speed as fast as possible. But we haven't had a training camp together or that, so it's, you got to force a lot of information, and, we're all excited to have him, and all I could say is we're just going to work as hard as we possibly can to get up to speed as quickly as possible.
All right, Shannon, will Antonio Brown make the Patriots better or worse?
Skip, I go back and forth with this, because you're talking about one of the most selfish players that I've ever, in all my association with the NFL since 1990.
You have been on the record from the start with this. You've never seen anything quite like this.
No, nothing.
Yeah.
One of the most selfish, if not the most selfish player that I've ever encountered, been around, watched, followed, studied. The question is, can Antonio Brown, one of the most selfish players, go into an organization where it requires you to be selfless? It's not about you. It's about the team. Antonio Brown, Skip, and through this run, he's had 6 straight seasons in which he's caught 100 straight passes. He's averaging 171 targets per season over that span. Only 3 games has Antonio Brown caught 5 or fewer passes. Only 1 game which he was targeted fewer than 5 times. Only 1 game in 6 years where Antonio Brown had fewer targets than 5. He's going to a situation, Skip, is that I don't really know what the Patriots offense is. It is a chameleon. The defense dictate what you're going to see that particular day. Tom Brady might throw for 400 one week and then come back the next week and throw for 180 because they run for 275.
Yep.
Who they have at the skill position does not dictate what they call on a given Sunday.
Nope.
What the defense can stop will dictate what they call. So how's Antonio Brown going to behave, Skip? Because if you look at the game last night, hopefully I got the sheet. Yeah, got it right here. You look at the targets. Edelman had 11. James White had 7. Burke had 8. Basically, the receivers, Dorsett 4, Gordon 4, Myers 1.
Sure.
How does he fit into that, Skip Bayless?
I don't know.
He can make them better, Skip, just by his presence because he is the great man-to-man. He can beat man coverage. So now how do we slide coverage, Skip? How do we dictate? But I don't trust that he's going to be Antonio. Everybody said, well, he's going there, Skip. The Raiders bent over backwards. They did everything they possibly could to accommodate Antonio Brown. Even with the helmet situation, Skip, he couldn't practice. And they was like, okay, you're going to try to let you get this resolved. He had his first hearing. They thought it was done. Still, that wasn't enough. So I don't really know what else the Raiders could have done to make Antonio Brown feel happy.
Nothing.
For me, Skip, and everybody, well, he won. No, you didn't win, Jenny.
No.
How do you win, Skip, if you get $10 million when you had an opportunity just to behave for
Good
another
point.
2 days and get $30 million?
$30 million.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
I don't get that either. Skip, I don't trust him. I believe at some point in time, Antonio Brown will be Antonio Brown, and Coach Belichick is going to have to send him on his way. That's just who he is. I do not trust him. And if someone says, okay, Shannon, you got to take your money and you got to bet he's going to behave or he's going to not behave and he'll be moving along. If I got to bet my money, I'm going to bet that he will misbehave because he's going to get upset that he's not getting enough targets, enough catches.
Yep.
And everybody's like, well, he has a chance to win a ring. So what? So he didn't think he had a chance to win a ring in Pittsburgh?
Yep.
Yeah. Good point.
Skip, I'm just so over. I don't have a problem with him giving a second chance, a third chance. Get as many chances they'll give you because we've seen guys, Skip, do far more worse things off the field. We've seen guys get DUI, kill somebody, and get job. We've seen guys be accused of abuse, domestic violence, and get another chance. So I got no problem with him getting a second chance. But the way he behaved in order to do this is just, I'm done with this situation. But to answer your question, Skip, I don't believe it. I believe that at some point in time, they're going to be worse off and say, this was a bad decision for us, and we're going to move on.
America, that was a mouthful from the Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe. And I'm going to take what you said to my bank because after what I saw last night, Pittsburgh got dismantled by New England.
They did.
I'm not sure I've ever seen New England's football team play a better overall game in any big regular season game than I saw last night.
Right.
So given that, there's only one man that can stop New England this year, and that's that man, number 84,
Yes.
Antonio Brown. Of course, he could also make them 19-0 invincible, right?
Yes.
Good. He could be the most lethal weapon Tom Brady has had since Randy Moss.
Yeah, no question about that.
But Randy Moss came there to win a ring, and Randy Moss had already shown you in Minnesota that he was highly capable of helping a team win because they came within a botched, missed field goal of playing you in the Super Bowl. And
98.
I told you, I thought Chris Carter's team with Randy Moss would have had a little edge over your team. It would have been a better game than Atlanta gave you in the Super Bowl. But the point is, this is all I know for sure. This will be the all-time greatest test of the Belichick-Brady system. And I will, of course, I picked the Patriots before I knew AB was going to the Patriots to win the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So I'm going to be pleasantly surprised if AB turns into a model citizen and a quiet cog in the system and a winning football player.
Right.
I have my doubts. The biggest shock to me was that Belichick gave him $10 million guaranteed, which was a bad sign to me because I thought after what happened in Oakland that Antonio would have to sort of grovel to go to New England and go for minimum, right?
Yeah.
I thought that's what would happen. And of course, Belichick reportedly offered a first-round pick for him when he looked like he was available in Pittsburgh in the first place.
Right.
But still, to give him $10 million guaranteed, and then did you see what he posted on Instagram yesterday? He posted the Patriot way with Antonio, just a caricature of him sitting on a pile of cash. The Patriot and business is booming, obviously.
Yeah.
Really?
never know.
Pick it the right way, left off.
Okay,
never know.
what do you think Bill Belichick thought of that yesterday? Seriously. Then he posted another picture on Instagram of him saying, "My ride is here." It's just caricature. He's got quite a team on his
He does.
social media, right?
Yep.
He said, "My ride is here," with a picture of a bus with Belichick in a hoodie in the first row, kind of scowling, like, "Okay, I'm ready to go play for that guy." Oh, yeah? I don't know. So what I saw last night was a team that does not need Antonio Brown to win its third Super Bowl in 4 years. And what is it, his fourth and sixth? It would be their
Be the Steelers of the 70s.
Yeah, to be the Steelers of the 70s. And to me, I've never seen Tom Brady play better than he played last night with what I thought was going to be some limitation of his weapons, right?
Right.
Did Julian Edelman look old to you last night?
No.
He looked as quick as ever at age 33 in his 10th season.
Philip
right?
Dorsett thought of as being a bust in Philly. Not Philly, in Indy.
Yep.
Now all of a sudden, he's one of Tom Brady's
I'm
favorites.
glad you brought him up because he was the one guy who hasn't been able to quite fit in or find his place. You realize he timed 4.33 coming out of the U before he got drafted. He was a second-round pick.
Yeah.
And AB timed 4.47. So in 40 yards, just straight ahead running, Philip Dorsett is faster
Yeah.
than Antonio Brown. And he's not quicker because Antonio can come out of his cuts like lightning.
Yeah,
like,
and that's what separates. That's what separates him.
And he literally separates by separating.
Correct.
Right? So the point is that last pass, if we could see it to Dorsett, the last touchdown pass, that was a stunner to me because that was Brady saying, "Wait a second, I found a wavelength with Philip Dorsett." Because he ran right by everybody, and he caught it right on time, great throw. And I said, well, there's your deep threat. So, again, do you really need AB?
No.
Well, you don't. If you could blend him in, would it take you up a level? Yeah, if he's on his best behavior.
Right.
What are the odds? So I'm with you. My conclusion to this is I'm less confident about my Super Bowl pick now than I was 3 days ago for last Friday.
Right.
It's crazy to think.
Yeah, but it's true. I'm less confident right now because I saw a team, and again, I thought, I've been telling you for 3 months, and I'm the first to admit I was happily wrong about this. I thought Pittsburgh was going to go in there and try to make a statement and pull off an upset because I thought Brady and company they didn't look through the preseason quite ready to stand up to Pittsburgh trying to make a statement. We can do this without AB and without Le'Veon. They missed AB, but Tom Brady did not miss AB last night.
No.
So what I saw was Big Ben Roethlisberger look like has-been. He looked lost. He looked like he was stuck on his back foot, flailing and desperately flinging all over the lot. Yeah. And I saw a back seven in New England. This is Belichick's best back seven, not the front four. Remember? They locked down everybody. Vance McDonald is really good, and he finally caught a ball with 1 minute left, and then he caught another one in the last second. So he caught 2 balls in the final minute of a blowout 33-3.
And you're seeing Juju, now that you're the number one, you're going to get the Stephon Gilmores.
Yeah.
You're going to get the attention. See, there's no AB now to get the number ones and lift the attention, and you get to work in the anonymity. Those days are over. Skip, the thing that
he still did okay. He caught 7 balls, but
the game was out of hand.
Who's the number 2? Dante Moncrief, who dropped 3 big balls.
On the fourth down was hurt. It really hurt.
It was terrible.
And the thing, because Skip, the thing is that when you look at AB is used to going into a game knowing I'm getting 10 balls thrown my way. I know that no matter what, come hell or high water, I don't care the coverage, I don't care who's guarding me, I know Big Ben's going to throw me 10 passes. Skip, the Patriots offense, what makes them so unique is that their offense is a chameleon. They don't say, okay, we throw the ball. Oh, we're a running team. Okay, today, what is the defense having trouble stopping? Well, Pittsburgh could not stop the pass. It's like, okay, Sonny Michel, you and Burkhead, y'all take the day off.
Okay.
Because we're going to throw the ball up and down the field. Skip, and they got guys run. Look at this. They got 3 guys back there and don't nobody. It wasn't until Dorsett is behind them that 3 guys turned and run like, oh, we probably should be covering him. It was awful. This was the worst that I've seen a Pittsburgh team overall, offense, defense. They normally always struggle defensively against the Patriots for whatever reason. Tom Brady's always had their number.
Wow.
But offensively, they look terrible. Now I want to know because last year, Ben has seemed refreshed. We keep hearing in the locker room, there's so much harmony in the locker room now, Skip Bayless. So I just need to know, they're going to blame Le'Veon or they're blaming AB? Who's at blame for what we saw offensively last night? And how does it get fixed?
Well, there's no radio show for Ben this year, so I don't know. James Conner's got a radio show, but he went nowhere fast last night because they couldn't run a lick.
No.
Right?
No. And Coach Belichick, that's it, Skip, that's his MO. Coach Belichick really, he knows that if he can stop you and make you one-dimensional, he forced Pittsburgh very early on into situations where I know you're going to throw the football, and now they played a lot of 7 defensive backs, Skip, because you can't run. I dare you to run the ball. We got 7 DBs.
And I want to point out to everyone, the most versatile, all-around, best defender on Belichick's unit last year was Kyle Van Noy.
Yes.
He could not play last night because his wife is having a baby. Okay, so he's out.
Right.
Who was the best pass rusher by far last year was Trey Flowers. He got $56 million to go to Detroit. 56 million is more. Let's see, Zeke got 50, he got 56. That doesn't add up, does it? Okay, but you lost your best pass rusher and your best all-around defender for this game. And that happened. And Ben Roethlisberger had no prayer from the start against that unit because they were as good on defense as they were on offense.
Skip, you remember we talked about Friday, we came in here and we talked about Mitchell Trubisky and how bad he looked. Did you know that Ben Roethlisberger had a worse QBR than Mitchell Trubisky? And we knew what he looked like Thursday night? And Big Ben, a guy that led the league in pass, I think he had the 7th most passing yards in a season, over 5,100 last year, had a worse QBR. The thing that you have to love so much about the Patriots and the defense, Skip, if a guy's supposed to be outside leverage, you bet your last dime he's going to be outside leverage. If he says, you know what, you got hooked to flat, the guy's going to go hook to come down to the flat. They don't have, Skip, when you look at these guys, you're not saying, okay, with the exception of Gilmore and McCourty, I'll give you can have all the rest of those guys. Those are the guys that I would want. If I was starting it, I want those guys. But in that scheme, for what they asked them to do, Skip, his textbook. It's like Coach Belichick gives them a test, and I guarantee you can give these guys a test, and all of them going to make somewhere between 95 and 100 because they're where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be.
But usually it takes that unit 2 or 3 games to start to develop some unity, some flow, some cohesion, because it is so complex what they're doing that they're usually a little out of sync early, which makes them vulnerable for a Kansas City to lay one on them, as we saw from Alex Smith in Kansas City and also the opener in Foxborough, right?
But for the most part, Skip, all these guys are back. They got Jamie Collins back. Now,
he just knows the system.
He knows the system.
He can fly around.
He's a big physical. They have big. Their front seven, Skip, is big and physical. That goes back to his days when Coach Belichick was the D coordinator for the Giants. Coach Parcells had a big physical team. Pepper Johnson and Banks and LT and all those big Leonard Marshall, all the Jim Burke. They were a big physical football team. And that's what Coach Belichick, you look at the offense, Skip, and they throw the ball all around. But you don't realize just how physical they are. They will bludgeon you in the run game. Steelers like to pride themselves on stopping the run. Okay, and Coach Belichick, Josh McDaniels says, okay, we ain't need to worry about the run. Hey, Tom.
They got 99 total rush yards, but that was good enough.
Tom. We need you to throw for like 350
because they tried to play man all over, and they're just not ready for that. So think about this. There was no Gronk last night, no problem. There was no N'Keal Harry. He's a stud. He's it's the first wide receiver that Belichick's ever drafted in the first round. And he's got some foot issue that's going to keep him out now for 8 games. Did it hurt him last night?
No.
Would he help them when he comes back after 8 games? Well, sure he would, because he started to vibe with Brady in the preseason. Okay, so AB fits into that flow how? Right? Because Jacoby Myers had a nice catch last night, and he's the rookie sensation that they sort of discovered from NC State.
And that's the thing, Skip. Okay, Edelman's not leaving the field because he's your slot guy. Gordon gives you big play potential over the...
And again, we both agreed he looked like he had piano on back last year, but did he not make a couple of plays
He made some huge catches. And because he's so big, he's tremendous run after the catch. You see, they got him dead to right on the sideline, got him pinned in, and he ran through him, and he gets a touchdown. AB comes back into this mix. Okay, yes. Could they be 2007 Patriots? Absolutely. But the difference is Randy immediately upon arriving bought in.
He did. And AB immediately said, the Patriot way is I'm sitting on a pile of cash. Really?
For as bad as Randy's reputation was at the time, he was nowhere near what we are dealing with with AB.
He hadn't had any of these kind of incidents.
Nothing
He had
like
his
this.
problems in Minnesota.
He did,
obviously.
and we remember those days.
But just remember, look what Brady keeps doing, not only to Pittsburgh, but to Mike Tomlin. It's just shameful to me. It's like a joke what he's done. Brady's now 12-3 in his career against Pittsburgh. 3-0 in the playoffs. But against Tomlin now, he's 8-2. He has 27 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. But more important, at Foxborough, he's 5-0 now against Tomlin. 18 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. Well, can't you defend? If Mike Tomlin knows that's his side of the ball.
That's what we say, Skip. We always say when a guy is a head coach, he cut his teeth one way or another, now with the exception of John Harbaugh, who was a special teams coach. But for the most part, head coaches, you're either a defensive guru or you're an offensive guru. That's how you got the job. And this is what you put on tape?
That's what you put on tape. So do I think Pittsburgh's still going to be a good football team? I do.
Yes.
Were they in the wrong place at the wrong time last night? They were. I thought it was the right place because they did their big ring ceremony before the game. And you know what the history of ring ceremonies is in both football and basketball. You kind of get a little, you prematurely celebrate. You rest on your laurels a little bit. We got this. And then somebody comes in and just embarrasses you at home. They were locked in from the start last night. They were the buzzsaw as opposed to Pittsburgh being the buzzsaw.
They look good. I'm not over. You can't overreact to New England because you know what you're going to get. For the most part, you go ahead and pencil them in for 12-4. That's on a bad year, Skip. That's what you pencil them in for. You pencil them in at 12-4, and if they get a break or two here or there, you miss a chance to win the ball game with 40 seconds left with a field goal. You miss, they'll get the ball and go down the field. They'll kick the game-winning field goal, so they end up 13-3, 14-2. But they look like every bit the. I can see why you picked them.
Has Antonio Brown in his career been a Patriots killer? No.
He's
played him 7 times. He's lost 5 of 7. He's averaged catching, let's just boil it down to this, 75 yards a game is what he's averaged.
Right.
In that AFC Championship game 2016 season, remember at Foxborough, the final score was 36-17. Not quite as devastating as last night, but Antonio caught 7 balls for 77 yards and didn't score. So I don't even remember him playing in the game. He was no big factor.
Right.
So he hasn't killed New England. So it's not like Belichick is saying, boy, I want him on my side, because they've done a pretty good job of handling him before he came to them, right?
You might kill them from the inside.
Yeah,
you couldn't
that's
kill
what
them
I'm
from
saying.
the outside.
Okay.
You bring him in and then.
Okay. And what happened with my friend Chad Johnson, then Chad Ochocinco, when he went, he's kind of on his last legs,
Right.
but he bought completely in.
Right.
And he just couldn't, he wasn't himself anymore.
Right.
He needed to be Ochocinco.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you.
Yeah. He needed to act out. He needed to be dominating on social media.
Right.
That's what fueled him.
Right.
He needed his touchdown dances. The river dance was all-time great. Way to go, Chad. I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
I
The
still
proposal.
I can see it in my dream. Oh, it was just great. Tiger Woods putting.
So let me ask you this, Skip. Now all of a sudden, AB can't blow off walkthroughs. He can't miss a practice.
You can't be late one time to one team function. You cannot. I think it'd be zero tolerance. Am I
Does
right?
he know what it's like there? I
No.
mean, does he
He
have
has
any
no
idea?
No idea.
No.
Because this is the first team he will have ever played on that does not need him.
Right.
Exactly.
He's always been the world,
Yep.
like
Yep.
it all revolves around me, right?
Yep.
Now it revolves around Brady and Belichick,
Right.
probably in the other order, Belichick and Brady. And here we go. But the final note here is Brady is so bought in that he's actually reportedly
I know.
invited Antonio to come live with him and his family for a while.
Brady,
that
do
up.
you know every conversation that you have will be
It
recorded?
would be. That's funny.
You will be on display.
And Coach Belichick Coach Belichick didn't call him. Coach Belichick said, "I'll talk to you when you get to my office, because I am not going to run the risk." But if I'm a friend of Antonio, do you actually think I'll have a conversation with him over the phone ever again, Skip Bayless?
No.
No, sir. And I'm going to pat him
safe.
down to make sure I'm going to have me Juan, I'm going to wait. Oh, you got your phone on you, bro. I ain't got nothing to say.
wired?
Recording you everywhere you go.
Yeah, I'm done.
I somehow can't picture
So did he
AB in
bad
his job.
act his way out of Oakland to get to New England? I don't know, maybe.
Maybe.
It kind of smacked of that. But
Skip, I think the thing is it was a situation where they were going to suspend him. Well, they weren't going to suspend him. They were going to find him for conduct detrimental, which also triggered the very thing he had. They suspended him. Once he realized, Skip, man, they took my guaranteed money, he's like,
Okay.
I might as well just act the fool and get up out of here and see if I can go somewhere else and get some money.
well, I'm with you. I don't love this.
The reality show continues, and there will be a whole nother chapter. I know every single day.
Hard
we'll get
knocks,
something
hard
new.
knocks,
Yeah.
hard. Can we do hard knocks during the season?
Just
Skip?
from Tom's house, that could be a good behind the scenes. So we got to talk about a different game. We know Skip liked what he saw from good old Dak Prescott. How impressed was Shannon? And Shannon, I need you to be honest here. The guys are going to go there next. Don't forget, you can check us out every day on the Fox Sports channel on SiriusXM. We'll be right back.
No mercy.
Are you ready for what's ahead? You can't always predict the future, but you can game plan for it. Generations of families and businesses have harnessed the power of Pacific to help them reach their unique goals. Whether you need to save enough money to meet your needs, ensure your family is protected, or make sure you don't run out of money, Pacific Life has a variety of financial solutions that can help. Pacific Life counts more than half of the 100 largest U.S. companies as its clients and has been named one of the 2019 World's Most Ethical Companies by the Ethisphere Institute, protecting what matters most to people for 150 years and counting. That's the power of Pacific. Ask a financial professional about how Pacific Life can help you game plan for your future, or visit www.pacificlife.com.
No mercy. So how about Skip's Cowboys? Dallas had no problem opening up the season with a 35-17 win against the NFC East rival Giants. Ezekiel Elliott ended up with 53 yards and a touchdown, but the day was all about Dak. Dak had over 400 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, a perfect passer rating, all while he continues to negotiate for a contract extension that Jerry Jones said after the game was, quote, imminent. So, Shannon, how impressed were you with Dak? I need honesty.
He did what he did. He did what he did and what he should have done.
And what he does.
Against a poor defense. Skip, this was the worst defense in the NFC East last year. And you lost your 2 best defensive players in Landon Collins and Olivier Vernon. So if you're a poor defense and you lose your 2 best players from that defense, how did you get better? When did you get better? You didn't. Skip, look. Did he throw? I thought he had 2 throws that were as good as throws that I've seen Dak make since he's been in the NFL. The one to Gallup up the rail, he put that in the bucket, and he threw the one to Amari Cooper right before the half to make it 21-7. He dropped that in the bucket. But other than that, Skip, did you know 12 of his 25 completions were over 2 yards of separation? Did you know that, Jenny? I didn't think you did. 3 of his 4 touchdowns. Randall Cobb had 7 yards of separation. Blake Jarwin had 5 yards of separation. Jason Witten had 3 yards of separation.
Called weapons.
Well, let me get this. I didn't ask you anything, Skip. I didn't ask you anything, Skip. It's my turn. It's my turn.
Oh, sorry.
I did.
It's my turn. Yeah, it's my turn right now. So, did he throw, was any of those throws what we call window throws or keyhole throws? Fitting balls into small areas? No, they were not, Skip. If you play a bad team, and this is what I've always liked, if I have a better team and I'm playing a team that I feel we should, looking at them on tape that we should beat, and we come out and handle our business, Skip, they didn't make it a 27-24 ball game. They didn't make it 24-20 where you have to sit on the edge and see, okay, man, the Cowboys going to do it. Come on. No. They took care of business early against a bad team, and that's what you do with a bad team. My grandfather used to say, boy, you're killing that with a sledgehammer. Then you don't go swat it and try to get it out your face. You go ahead and make sure, bam!
Who scored first? I forget.
Hold on. Get out there.
I just was making sure here. Maybe I watched a different game.
The Giants scored first.
Oh, thank you.
And that was really the only time that you felt threatened, and you know it. But I will give Dak his kudos. He threw the ball over 400 yards, 25 completions on 32 attempts. Great. He had a great day throwing the ball. He did what he should have done against a poor defense. Kudos. So, Skip, if you want to crown him,
I heard that yesterday from somebody. I think we might hear that in just a second.
How about this? I would do you like T.O. If that's your quarterback, that's your quarterback.
It is my quarterback.
Okay.
Oh, so I should cry?
Okay, that's your quarterback.
Crocodile tears?
No tears over
Go
here.
ahead,
fake tears?
There were no fake tears. The man was hurt. They were lashing out at his quarterback, and
that
he was
was
hurt.
after they lost a home playoff game after going 13-3 with a bye, and somebody was trying to say, oh, you're blaming my quarterback. I'm going to cry about it because I love that you're blaming my quarterback.
Oh, and guess what happened, Jenny? What Skip also didn't tell you is that Jason Witten and Tony Romo was their backing coach.
I said that. I ripped both of them.
Backing coach.
Yep.
They were. Yes, they were.
Jessica Simpson, and,
Hold on.
She has
And one more thing before you go, Skip.
bad luck.
Where did Jason Witten hair go? He was in the booth last year, had a head full of hair.
Well, you know know, maybe
He decided to
the
go
stress.
tough.
I thought he was Fabio with all that hair up in the booth.
Kind of
No.
He joined the Marines again. He went back to Dallas.
How do you go from Fabio to Kojak in 3 months? I just need to know that.
He just not working for him?
I saw
didn't
number
like it.
82 catch a touchdown
Man,
pass.
you know what's good,
You
man.
believe in that?
I figured that would come
He
up
was
today.
moving and grooving.
No,
he
he
looked
wasn't.
like he's
He
gained
was
he had a new pep in his step, didn't he?
You know
Little
what's
quickness.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
I think he might be spoiling to have a little 40-yard dash with
I
Shannon
think you.
Sharpe right now.
I think you can get him now, Skip. Watching the run yesterday, I think you can get him at a 40.
You could be right about that. But I'm glad he's back. Just on presence, just on his blocking
Leadership.
ability, just
Leadership in the
aura.
locker room, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So, the reason I would not accept your bet, remember you're going to take
Seven and a
seven and a
half.
half.
Yes.
And the Giants was, I knew that team last year, and you could be right, maybe they're not quite as good, but they went 7-1 on the road against the spread last year. So they hung in every game. And every time they were 7 or 8 point underdogs, they covered.
Right.
And when you play an NFC East division rival,
Sure.
bad things happen, weird things happen,
Yep.
as happened in Philly. We're going to talk about that in just a few minutes
Yep.
because Washington covered. Remember that spread? That was
Yep,
10
10
points,
points.
and they scored late to cover because that's just what happens
Right.
in that division.
Yep.
Happens in every division,
Yep.
but especially in that one. So, you're right about this. I got to put it all back in perspective. Dak can't throw. He's a liability. He goes
there
as
you go.
Zeke goes. He's not even close to being a top 20. He's probably not even a top 25 quarterback.
I never said that.
Baloney, Shannon.
I said middle of the road.
I have been trying all offseason to warn you, to save you from yourself, because Dak Prescott took off last year after Jerry went and got him from Oakland, Amari Cooper. The last 10 games last year, he led the NFL in completions and in catchable passes, according to Pro Football Focus. And in the playoffs, he led the whole NFL in QBR. And then he goes out in the home opener and he posts a 97 QBR. The passer rating, it says he hit the top,
perfect.
but I agree with Troy Aikman on the Fox telecast. I don't even know how you get perfect because he did miss some throws
Right.
because there were 3 drops.
Right.
Mari dropped a couple that I thought he should have had.
Especially that third down. I thought he should have had that third down.
It just hit him right in the hands. You got to catch that. And Zeke had one Cabo drop. It's just from being in Cabo too long, right? And it hit him right in the hands on third down, or that would have been a conversion. And yet, my quarterback throws for 405 yards. You say he's like barely, he can't top 200. 4 touchdowns, no interception with 3 drops. And what I loved about yesterday was he threw it with conviction.
He did.
He threw it with supreme confidence from the start. And what I loved about the way the day unfolded is that Eli and company took the ball after opening punt, their first possession, and they go 91 yards on 7 plays to score. Saquon got loose for 59. And again, I'm going to get to my defense in just a second. But Saquon, at points yesterday, did look like what you say is the best running back in football because he gashed them several times. So all of a sudden, it's 7-0, and then guess what happened? Dak attack happened. Have we seen this before? 75 yards in 11 plays, touchdown. 93 yards in 9 plays, 14-7. 83 yards in 13 plays, up 21-7 at halftime. Right? Okay, those are long drives featuring lots of big plays and lots of third down conversions. Why is that, Shannon Sharpe? Why have they taken it up a level? Because I told you all offseason, Kellen Moore will be much more on offense than Scott Linehan ever was. Scott Linehan was too much meat and potatoes. Now Kellen Moore's just splashing gravy all over my meat and potatoes. Little
You aggressive.
Okay, more movement, more downfield throws, just more pizzazz, more sis boom ba. It's like you just sit back and he used Dak's legs 3 crucial times.
He did.
Actually 4 crucial times. Dak ran with the ball off the read option. And it works because he can run with the ball at about, he may not weigh 250. He looks like 235-ish now, but he's a big, strong man with pretty good mobility. So again, Kellen Moore took advantage of that, but more important, if you saw Dak go to the sideline, they're high-fiving. He's connected. He loves Kellen Moore. I told you that they share a wavelength, they share a rapport, they share just a love. I think they have love for each other because
Yeah.
they've been around each other a long time. So I don't think Scott Linehan had love or relationship with Dak
Well,
Prescott.
I think he did. I think he did, Skip. But you have to realize Scott Linehan was brought in to call plays for Tony Romo. Kellen Moore was brought in to call plays specifically and to base everything around what does Dak Prescott do really, really well.
All right.
And you saw yesterday the way he called that game. Oh, John Gruden's on the phone. He want to trade for Amari Cooper. No, we good. We good.
You could use him right now.
What could have been?
Well, considering, Skip, you know Keelan Dawes, they cut him. He went to Jacksonville. They tried to sign him back to the practice squad. He said, no, I'm good. They said, well, we'll give you a $300,000 signing bonus, and we'll guarantee you your rookie contract. He says, okay, I'll come back. And here he is. But Skip, come on now. You tell me the Giants. How many games you think the Giants going to win? Over, under 6?
I don't know. They could win 6.
You want
wishful
to
thinking.
get some due on that?
I think that's
They could win
mystic.
6.
Skip, their defense is very Skip. He
So-
let Amari before you go. Randall Cobb scores on the play. It looks like they're going to play Tampa 2. Ogletree has no run responsibility. Why are you biting on the play fake? You got to get deep. You got to get the hole. The safety spread.
Wait a second. Don't they still have that guy you used to call Jackrabbit? Maybe he was fumbling with his handcuffs and he accidentally handcuffed himself.
Go ahead,
Did he handcuff himself?
Jack Rabbit was doing a good
You know
thing.
what? Guess what the first throw of the game was? It was Amari working on Jackrabbit just for you. It was just for you. It was a fairly deep out. He just ran him off the route and cut back to the sideline for an opening completion because I think they were saying to New York, nope, we're not afraid of you anymore. With Dez, they were afraid because Dez could not route him. He couldn't fool him with the route.
No.
He just had to beat him physically, and that's one guy. He's a big, strong, physical corner, and you can't beat him physically.
I mean, but Skip, I'm looking at the guys run routes. Amari Cooper gets down the middle. He runs to the guy and he stutters. Okay, what route they do that at? The guy ain't gonna block. Come on, dude, he going deep. When you ever see? Sometimes I like, do guys watch tape? Do you understand tendencies? Skip, if a guy, when have you ever seen a guy run? A guy stutters at 3 yards. He's running a stutter comeback. If he's gonna run the stutter go, he's gonna get about 10 yards to stutter you. If he stutters off the line of scrimmage, he's running the comeback. I'm sitting dead right. Okay, when you get at that break, I'm gonna run right up underneath it and get to the house.
So before yesterday, the Dallas Cowboys were 0-7 when Zeke was held under 75 yards.
He was.
Guess what now? They're 1-7.
1-7.
Because he was held pretty
Well, if he played the
significantly
Giants,
under
guess
75.
what? If he plays the Giants again,
Oh, really?
ain't no telling
So
what
now
Dak
it's
will
the
be.
Giants' fault.
Skip, you know this game. Well, you ought to be ashamed of yourself because you wouldn't give me 7.5 when the Giants, and you know they're
I
terrible.
thought it was going to be a close division.
I
battle.
didn't.
Well, I did. And
But I was
by
just-
the way, next week, I'm really scared of next
I know.
week because Case Keenum is legit, man.
No,
Oh, we're going to talk about him in a bit.
Skip, baby, you know
He
Case
went to Philly and threw a party on them.
he threw a party when they let him get comfortable in the first half. But when they started heating his butt up in the second half, how did he look, Skip? He scored 7 points with 25 seconds left in the game. Prior to that, in the second half, the whole second half.
Okay, so what I was not proud of yesterday, I'll be the first to be objective here. I'm not yet bought in on my defense. I see the talent. I see it on paper, but I don't see it on the field.
Yeah.
I need to see more because Eli threw for 306 and Saquon kept getting loose.
Okay.
Last year, they contained Saquon in both games except for one run or one pass. This time, he was gashing away
He was.
beyond the second play of the game when he went for 59. He got a bunch of 10-yard runs, and it was horrifying to me because the New York Football Giants were threatening to go for 500 total yards. They had 470 total yards.
Well.
You like that? Because I don't.
No, but they were terrible. They were terrible on third down. They were 211. They were 18%.
I'll take that.
And the difference is, that's the mark. That's when you know you got a good defense,
Okay.
Skip. If you can get off the field on third down,
Yeah, I agree
red
with
zone
that.
defense.
But you know, when you don't have a good defense, you know what the worst sign is to me is when I look at the defensive stats, and the leading tackler was one safety, Xavier Woods.
Okay.
And then the third leading tackler was the other safety, Jeff Heath. So they had 11 and 9 tackles, and Wolf Hunter was in between them with 10. But What does that tell you? That too many Giants were getting to the
Right.
third level,
Yeah,
not
you don't
the
want to get to
second
the third level. You want your linebackers. You want a Smith and the Wolf Hunter, Van Der Esch.
Yeah.
You kind of want them to lead the team.
You kind of want him, and I didn't see enough of Jalen Smith. I know he got his money. Now I need to see him get his tackles.
Okay.
I need to see him roaming sideline to
That's
sideline.
terrible defensively.
Yeah.
You know it.
Washington will be a problem next
What,
week.
Skip, stop that. Stop trying to sell
Appreciate
that.
the honesty
I understand,
about your
Skip.
team.
Yes, that game is okay. That game's on our network. Yeah, Washington's going to be really good. That's going to be a really big tough game, Jenny.
gonna be a big
Oh,
one,
we're trying
for
to hype
sure.
it? Yeah.
I saw that little wink for everyone
So
at home.
just to sum this up for my man Shannon Sharpe,
What?
late in yesterday's game, our man Troy Aikman here at Fox, who once upon a time was a great Dallas Cowboy quarterback, he shares the Hall of Fame with you, and he had this to say, if we could hear it, about Dak Prescott.
You only have to spend about 2 minutes with Dak Prescott and know there's something really different and special about him.
2 minutes, different and special. He is the leader of this team, and I get angry when I heard people yesterday saying, oh, he's going to get a whole lot more. No, he's not going to get a whole lot more money. He'd already earned his money.
Yeah.
He's going to get it anyway.
Yeah.
It's a done deal. I was surprised they didn't quite get it finished for Sunday's game.
Right.
I thought they would, but Adam Schefter at ESPN had reported that he's making like $50 million, and it's guaranteed off the field because he has contracts that are going forward.
Well, what he did, he took out of Valor to London.
And he's
against
got that,
insurance.
for sure.
So that's probably about $30 million right
He's
there.
got that, but the point was he's doing just fine.
Right.
He's only making like $2.7 million
Right.
base salary, but again, when you're making $50 million off the field, you know you can wait a couple days, you'll get this done. He's going to get top dollar.
Yeah.
Top guaranteed money. He'll get more than Jared Goff
The
got.
Giants DBs, I'm looking at Baker and I'm looking at some of these other guys. My grandma used to say, boy, close the door. Flies are coming in your house. If you line up in a press position, put hands on someone. If you're not going to put hands on them, play off. Because let me tell you what happens, Skip. If you get up in a press position and you open your hips to turn and run, that guy's going to do exactly what Gallup did, and he's going to do exactly what Amari Cooper did. If you line up in a press position, put hands on him.
Okay.
If you're not, back off. Giants are terrible and you know it.
Did you see Michael Gallup yesterday?
Oh, my
Did you see? I told you he's going to be like a fantasy superstar this year. Did
List
he not
was on.
emerge? And you talked about the rail throw, but he was open all day long. It's hard to guard all of them at once. And by the way, Zeke was just kind of playing his way into condition. And I was happy he got that 10-yard run at the end because
Not that
it'll
good.
do a lot for his psyche.
I think I could have caught about 4 or 5
Saw
passes.
Jerry
against the Giants.
celebrating. Oh, the smiles from Jerry. Happy guy. Happy guy. So
Here we
Dak
go, Shannon.
did
You know what?
have a day.
Miami, here we come. I'm ready to say it. Miami, here we come.
I mean, I'm
That's
fine with that.
That's a Fox
We're going to
event.
be there either
I'm talking
way.
about February.
So in other words, after one game, you're
Yep.
convinced.
Yep.
Okay.
That was
I
all he
saw
needed
it.
to see.
That's all I needed to see.
Against
Thank
the
you.
Giants. Washington up next. But we've got all week to talk about that. So Dak had a day, a different guy that Skip likes. Baker, he did not. Baker Mayfield and the Browns really just had a disappointing start to their season in a 43-13 loss at home to the Titans. Baker was sacked 5 times, once for a safety. He threw 3 interceptions, including a pick 6 in the fourth quarter. And after the game, Baker knew that the criticism would be coming his way, saying, quote, everyone is going to throw us in the trash. Titans tight end Delaney Walker channeled his inner Denny Green and made sure everyone knew that he wasn't buying the Browns hype. Take a listen.
Circle this game. This is just another game. We ain't worried about it. I'm gonna tell you again, man. They were who we thought they were. Y'all can crown them if you want to crown them. Still gotta play football.
Well, Shannon, were the Browns overrated?
I don't think they were overrated, but I don't think they were prepared. Their heads were not where it needed to be in this ball game. I don't think the focus was where it needed to be. Skip, you can talk all you want to. You can accumulate all the talent you want to, and you can talk about this is a new beginning, and, I got my guy calling the plays, and I don't care what anybody thinks of me. All I care about, all that's fine and good. But all those other 31 teams, and if they're on your schedule, they hear all that talking. And they hear, the Browns are the sexy pick for the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Baker Mayfield has this many bets on the MVP. Yada, yada, all that, Skip. You don't think the Tennessee Titans, you don't think Mike Vrabel? Guys, they have already won this game. Y'all just happen to be a blip on the radar for them.
Yep.
to bigger and better things. And one team came to play 60 minutes of football, and one team came to play one drive and thought that one drive would kill the other team's morale. And it didn't. Skip, they wasn't ready to play. I'm looking at Odell. Skip, Odell comes on the field with a $350,000 watch. For what? Why do you need a watch that costs 350 bands? On the field, Skip, who are you trying to impress? Because, okay, let's just say, Skip, that was an endorsement or a sponsorship. That shows, if that's the case, shows me where his head is.
Yep.
If you got that watch on, so what? Who are you trying to impress on the field with a watch like that?
Good question.
How much was it?
$350K. It's a Richard Mille.
Oh, no big deal.
Yours is worth more than that.
Shh, man, please. I wish I might spend $350,000 on a watch.
I didn't know it was that much. I noticed it. Jeez.
But for what, Skip? That just goes to show mindset.
Yeah.
Skip, you ain't trying to play no football. Skip, look. Did I want to look nice? Yes, I wanted my socks that a certain height. I wanted my pants to fit in jersey. But all that other stuff, did I have a chain on? Absolutely.
Yep.
But Skip, I wasn't wearing no watch, no bracelet. For what? This ain't the club. I ain't trying to impress nobody. These dudes out here ain't trying to impress by you. Everybody makes money. Maybe not as much as Odell, but they got bread too. Who you trying to impress? What is going on that you feel? So know what, Skip? He gonna score. What he was gonna do, Skip, he gonna score a touchdown. That's what time it is. It's Odell time.
You're right.
It's Odell time. That's what time it is. Cleveland. It's time. The time has arrived. Yeah. Okay. Good luck with that. Man,
Sloppy.
their minds were in the wrong place. One game is not going to determine it, but I just think that from what I saw from this ball game yesterday, they got a ways to go, Skip.
Okay.
They got a ways to go. And if they think that they can just try that, they got Odell and they got Landry and they got Njoku and Chubb and Baker's going to take the next step. Man, teams don't care anything about
They don't
that, Skip.
care.
No.
They got a new target on their back.
Yes.
The Cleveland Browns are in the sights of everybody.
yes.
We're going to get them and put them back in their place.
Correct.
I believe they were overrated. I'm still rooting like mad for Baker.
Sure.
But I still think Pittsburgh will prove to be a little better in that division. But I hope that they can bounce back against the Jets on Monday Night Football, and I think they can. But here's why they're overrated at this point. 3 reasons. Number one, the new head coach. He's a first-time head coach. He only coordinated for the back half of last year. That's the first time he's ever called plays in the NFL. He's proving already to be a player's coach who's trying to do everything possible to keep too many stars happy, and it won't work.
Nope.
And the truth is that his number one job is just to be Baker's big brother. And every once in a while, you got to have somebody who's more than just the big brother of the team.
Correct.
He has to be able to instill some discipline.
Right.
They had 18 penalties yesterday. The Browns haven't had 18 since 1951.
Who are you going to be with that many penalties?
Okay, nobody. At home or away, it doesn't matter. You're not going to win. And too many of them came at terrible times.
Most
crucial
inopportune of times.
Number two, they're missing their coordinator, Greg Williams, who I'm a big fan of. He brought last year some edge to that defense. They played with a chip on their shoulder pads, and they played some mean, nasty kind of football, and they overachieved. They're more talented now, obviously, but they didn't look the same to me. They didn't play with the same conviction and commitment, and they didn't play as fast as they played under Greg Williams.
No.
Okay? So then we come to the quarterback. It's just too much too soon for a second-year quarterback. Now, every commercial I see, it's kind of like Dak a year ago.
Yeah.
Every commercial I see, he's in it.
Lot
Well,
going on.
okay, you're a sophomore quarterback, you're trying to figure it out, and all of a sudden you're the it kid in the NFL. And it's hard to live up to that because after a while, people are saying, we're going to put him back in his place, too.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
He was fun last year. He's not fun to the opponents anymore.
Skip, you look at his numbers. This was the worst that I've seen. If you didn't know better, you swear this was his first start.
Yep. Yeah.
Not probably his 11th or 12th start.
After the opening drive.
After the opening drive. 3 interceptions, a safety. He was high, he was low. He was all over the place with the football.
Yep.
Now, Tennessee is a physical team.
They are.
They'll come get you now.
Remember what they did to Dallas on Monday night last year? It was devastating. When Dallas fell to 3-5 because they just came out and punched them right in the mouth.
Skip, you think Cameron Wake could help the Dolphins? No, that's another.
Whole nother issue.
Skip,
Yep.
he was playing.
Okay.
Skip, I don't get this. Robinson, who's the best left tackle, if you could say that's what he is, because he's been terrible basically every place he's ever been.
Okay.
And he gets kicked out of the game for kicking the man in the face.
Okay. And you got to give Baker that the benefit of this, because then the kid who comes back in to back him up, Kendall Lamb, he immediately gets hurt on the play that turned into the safety.
Yes.
So now you're down to your third string left tackle, who's probably your guard, you know. And so you're mixed and matched. So he wasn't being protected in the fourth quarter the way he should be.
Right.
And I'm not sure they're great in the offensive line to start with.
They're not.
Good point.
And so all of a sudden, Baker, it's expectations, as you always say. He tries to do way too much in the fourth quarter, and he starts throwing it to the other team. And I worried about Baker, and I brought it up on this show. Do you remember the third preseason game, dress rehearsal game? Baker Mayfield against Tampa, who didn't prove to be very good yesterday against San Francisco. Baker in the third preseason game went 10 of 26 for 72 yards with no touchdowns and a pick. And it was an ugly night.
Yes.
And I started seeing that again in the fourth quarter yesterday. So are you sure? Are you sure? Because every once in a while at Oklahoma, he'd have one of those little stretches where he'd go real hot and then completely cold. Right. So are you sure? Because I love him, and I think he's going to be really good. But I thought after the opening drive, he was like making an MVP statement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Skip, but I got to put this on Freddie. The head coach is
Well, trust me, he's going to be the fall guy for this if it goes south.
Well, Skip, as the head coach, it's your job
Yep.
to make sure your team is ready to play.
They were not ready.
Not just your offense, not just Baker. You're the head coach. You're the head coach of the football team,
Supposed to
not
be.
just the offense.
Yep.
So you got to make sure they're ready to play also.
Yep.
Defense, they Skip. I mean, Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry catches the ball and goes 75 yards untouched.
I agree. I saw a lot of half-hearted effort.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Greg Williams would throw a fit over this.
But sometimes, Skip, that's the hardest thing to get out a team that's been losing for an extended period of time, because once it starts to go south, they're like, okay, well, here we go again. Let's just go ahead and get this over with. And you don't continue to play and rally like you would if it was in a close ball game. This was a poor performance. I'm not going to write them off just yet, Skip, but they need to show me a little bit more this week than what I saw last week. Because that kind of performance, what we saw Sunday, Skip, that explains 1-15.
Yeah.
That explains 0-16.
No, I agree.
That kind of effort.
And I actually thought maybe Odell would have some negative things to say after the game, but guess who did? Jarvis Landry.
Okay.
And he caught only 4 balls for 67 yards, and he was snapping at reporters for asking just realistic questions about, did it hurt that you guys didn't play in the preseason with Baker enough? And he just went off on the reporters. So maybe he was the one. I don't know if he's mad about losing or mad about he didn't get enough balls.
Both.
You know, because remember, 2 years ago he led the league in catches, and now I don't think he's going to lead the league in catches.
No.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They got to make some changes quick,
Okay.
though. It's weird to think that we're already questioning, but if they can get back on track at Jets Monday night, that's not going to be.
Yeah, they should be able to handle the Jets.
I don't know. Greg
Little
Williams is
extra
gonna have
time.
his defense fired up.
Oh, they're going to blitz Blake into the ground. You know
good
Greg
point.
Williams, heavy blitz anyway.
Yep.
Okay, so Kyler Murray looked to have figured it out yesterday, but he waited until the
Yeah, he
fourth
did.
quarter to do it. Should we be sold on the number 1 overall pick?
know someone.
Maybe now. That's not no mercy. So it was a tale of two halves for Kyler Murray and the Cardinals, who found themselves in a 17-3 hole after 2 quarters. The rookie quarterback led his team on an 18-0 run to end the fourth quarter, force overtime. The Cardinals would trade field goals with the Lions in OT, resulting in a 27-27 tie. So Kyler finished the game with over 300 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, both of which came in the fourth quarter. So Shannon, are you sold on Kyler Murray?
No. It was easy. What happened was Detroit they didn't want to give up any big plays, and they started playing off, and he started making some completions, and he got on the roll, and he ended up getting the game in overtime, and they both traded field goals, and they ended up in a tie. But so are we going to forget the first 3 quarters? He had 6 points. He was 9 of 25 for 70 yards, 0 touchdown, and interception, hadn't been sacked 4 times until that point. And so, and I get it from the Lions' perspective. It's because the adage is nothing cheap, nothing deep. You get this big of a lead, don't give them a big play over the top in one play or anything like that. But they got too lax, and they let him mount a charge, and he came back, and their defense started playing well. Stafford was off just a little on a couple of throws, but there's a tape out there, and Detroit put it out there of how you get to him. You pressure his little butt, and you get your hands up. And we saw what could happen. So, no, this is commending. They should have lost this game, and they fought valiantly to come back and get a tie. But, nah, I'm exactly where I was.
Really?
Yep, right
Interesting. There. Boy, you're stubborn. Hard-headed over there.
You saw it. Did you watch the game? I watched the game.
Wait, is football still 4 quarters or 3? Oh, it's
Still
4
4.
quarters. Oh, and they have this thing called overtime you get to play?
Too.
Oh.
It reminded me of another guy that you loved in 2011, Skip Bayless. There was a guy he would do play like this.
You mean the guy who won the division that year? Took a 1-4 team to the division title and won a home playoff game?
All I'm
We
saying.
want to bring him up?
I ain't bringing up nobody.
Well, I would take
Feel
that
free.
from Kyler Murray this year. Woo.
You know good and well y'all not winning no division, so
Okay,
stop
well,
that.
you just compared him to a guy who did win the division. You're saying that's what? Are you predicting he's going to win the
I'm
division?
talking about how he played for 3 quarters, and when defenses play off because they don't want to give you anything cheap or deep, it allowed him to get back into the ball game.
So I'm going to remind you, this was his first NFL start against a Matt Patricia defense, well coached, and they have some talent on defense. And the point is that most rookie quarterbacks in their opener, if they had those numbers you just threw out for the first 3 quarters, they would go straight in the tank. It's why rookies are not started in this league, because that's the kind of first 3 quarters that could ruin a rookie quarterback, right? I tried to tell you how special this little performer is psychologically, intangibly. Nothing bothers him, completely unflappable.
You're right.
So here's what happened before the game. You realize that Cliff Kingsbury kept Kyler in the locker room as long as he could, and he barely warmed up because they didn't want to even show anything in warm-ups. And I did not love it because Cliff Kingsbury is a first-year head coach. Obviously, he got fired at Texas Tech, where he wasn't even a 500 coach. And I think that showed me that he wants his offense to be the star of this team. It really doesn't matter what offense Kyler Murray is running, because don't worry about that. Just find out what he does best and then start playing to his strengths. And
Well, hell, he won't tell you.
It took 3 quarters. I know, he just said, I'll do whatever. But it took 3 quarters for them to start to figure out, oh, he can do this and he can do that. And you got to let him run more than he ran, because what did he run total? Kyler Murray ran 3 times for 13 yards. You got to let him run 10 or 12 times a game, because he is lightning fast. Lightning fast. He will not get hurt because he's got that defense mechanism, that survivability. Again, at Oklahoma, he never took a shot that was dangerous. So what happened after he and Kingsbury started to figure out in the 4th quarter? Zing, zing, zing happened, because he's got rare arm strength and rare rocket delivery. It's just, you want to talk about lightning fast? He's lightning fast with his feet and with his release. And once he got settled in, you saw the poise, you saw the clutch playmaking, and all of a sudden, here he came. And to go, what did he go? 12 of 14 in the 4th quarter for 158 yards. And you can say prevent this or prevent that. They couldn't prevent anything. He took them right down the field.
Let me ask you a question.
Boom, 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 2 touchdowns and the 2-point conversion to tie it.
If you don't mind me asking, so why couldn't he do any of that in the first 3 quarters?
Because he's a rookie and he's with a rookie head coach that he doesn't know, never played for.
So he went from a rookie in the first 3 quarters to a 4-year vet in the 4th quarter.
No, he looked like a veteran quarterback to me. And I saw a bunch of quotes from veteran Arizona Cardinals after the game saying, now Kyler Murray knows when he wakes up tomorrow he can play quarterback in this league. Because that was impressive to that football team. And could we see the deep out he threw Larry Fitzgerald in overtime? You know, this is a big league throw. This is what, this is under fire in overtime of your opening start, and to have that poise and patience and that arm strength, whew, man, what a throw and what a catch by Larry Fitzgerald.
His 117th of his career.
Whew, God, that's a young legend thrown to an old legend. Oof. There you go. And that should have set up, and again, I fault him because they couldn't cash enough in the red zone, because they got to figure out which plays he can run that will hurt the defense the quickest in the red zone.
Well, how about he tell them?
He will.
No.
Well, he's showing them is what he did. He's just showing
No, Skip.
Yep.
But here's the thing. When coaches go into the game with a game plan, they like to know the plays, okay, these are the plays that Kyler really likes.
Yep.
So we're going to try to stay here. Well, if they don't know what he really likes, how are they going to call it? They don't want to just call plays. They want to call plays that he really, really likes. You think Josh McDaniels is just willy-nilly calling plays? He's calling plays that Tom really likes.
His play caller went 26-30 at Texas Tech and got this job.
Yeah.
Okay? So he's trying to figure it out too.
Well, he got the job because that seems to be the new craze now, Skip. You get these young guys. You see the Sean McVays and the LaFleurs, and you see these young offensive-minded guys getting these jobs. And it looks, and he said something in October. I think he was just saying it. Well, if I was in the NFL and I had a number 1 pick, I would take Kyler Murray.
Yep.
Well, it just so happens he became available. Kyler Murray declared for the draft. It was supposedly, I guess it is.
He knew Kyler because he
tried to recruit him.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, but Kyler never played for him, and this system is a little different than the Lincoln Riley system at Oklahoma. It's still a spread, it's shotgun mostly, but still, I saw strong intangibles from that kid yesterday. I saw something that will work, and the truth is, that's a bad football team that managed to rally and tie Detroit, which is not a real good football team, but I did not blame Cliff Kingsbury for not trying to go for it because they had 4th and 8.
Right.
To try to
field goal.
Yeah, just go ahead and take the tie because I don't know. They're so bad on both sides of the ball. Matt Stafford was just eating them up.
Oh, yeah. Yo, he did the right thing to punt. Because knowing Matt Stafford's history, let him throw an interception or pick 6. Or I'm not going to give you the game here.
I would completely agree.
I totally agree with what he
again,
did.
It's going to be hard for Arizona to win games because the schedule only gets harder and harder and harder. So take a tie. Everybody feels good about themselves. They said the Detroit locker room was just a morgue.
That's what I was thinking.
They were because they had this game. They had this game, and they back. Sometimes, Skip, you can back off too much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I get it because and I've told people this. It's easier to come from behind by 14 in the fourth than it is keep the lead because you're not going to play the same way, Skip. Because and I know you remember this. I think it was 87, maybe 87, 88. When Buddy Ryan and the Eagles had Joe Montana and the 49ers down by like 21 points going into the fourth quarter, and he kept calling blitzes, and they kept hitting Jerry Rice over the top for deep posts, and the next thing you know, they lose the game by 14. It's like, well, we playing our style. So you don't want to get into a situation like that, Skip. You want to nickel and dime them, and hopefully they'll run out of clock. But you can't give up too much ground too quickly, and that's what Detroit did because that was the game.
Looked to me like Tennessee yesterday backed off in the fourth quarter, and Baker started throwing it to them. Okay?
Because he got it. Skip. At that point in time, he's like, I don't want 5 yards. I want 15. I want 20. So you're right. He got greedy.
Yep.
And he wasn't taking what they were giving because they're like, okay, we'll give you 5 yards. All you clock will keep. This is not like that. This is not like college, Skip. You get a first down and the clock will stop. And you don't get out of bounds, the clock will keep moving. But look, you saw it. You saw what he did. The first 3 quarters is more of what's going to happen. He's going to get a lot more of that, Skip Bayless. Lots more.
Ties just feel so weird to end that way.
Yeah.
All I
Second
know
straight
is
year,
Kyler Murray has a lightning release and a strong arm that is deadly accurate. That will work at this level. I know he's literally got 4 passes batted. He didn't get many batted at Oklahoma. He'll figure this out. He's one of those kids who's a man. He's grown up psychologically.
Yeah, but those guys in the NFL, Skip, they get really smart. They're like, hold on, this guy's only like 4'11 and a half. So all I got to do is just, you know what I'm saying?
Harsh.
Yeah.
Shannon.
One of them, he like to hit the guy put his hand up to
Give him a
protect his face because he's about to hit him in his face with the ball.
What did Kingsbury say a few weeks back? He's always been little.
Yeah.
That
this
isn't
is nothing new.
Yeah, you're right.
And they had tall guys in college football too.
But Skip, they're not coached. They don't get an opportunity. They got other things to worry about, Skip. They got study hall. They got to go to class. These guys up here, all they worry about is football. They ain't got to go to no class.
The mental toughness, Skip. I saw it there too. I'm with you.
Whew.
Just forget those first couple quarters.
What a start for a rookie quarterback.
Good start. Okay. I'm going to go with that. I'm looking forward to the latest. So then we got a guy like Tom Brady. He's got another weapon in Antonio Brown. So are the Patriots a lock to win the Super Bowl? Or are we going to just call it right now? We'll discuss next.
No mercy.
How about the reigning Super Bowl champs? Well, they continued right where they left off last season. Brady showed no signs of aging with over 300 yards passing and 3 touchdowns in the 33-3 win over the Steelers. All of this without newly signed All-Pro wide receiver Antonio Brown. And according to Fox Bet, The Patriots are by far the favorites to win the Super Bowl at 4-1, with the Chiefs behind them at 15-2. Skip, are the Patriots now a lock to win the Super Bowl?
I fear, Mr. Sharpe, they are less of a lock today than they were last night after the game that I watched. I just believe Antonio Brown is now a lost cause. I believe he's gone over the edge into egomania and cannot be reeled back in. I know that Belichick and Brady are both watch this guys. They love to say, okay, watch this. You think we can't? Watch what we can do. I think this is the one player who will test their system to the point that he breaks their system, and that they're going to have to cut bait with him at some point, and that when he doesn't make enough catches, he'll start making waves.
Right.
And when he makes waves, I assume he's on maybe not zero tolerance. Maybe Belichick could give him one slip up, be 7 minutes late to a walkthrough, or miss one altogether. Would he let him go one time?
What about that practice? What about that practice? Don't even come to practice.
Does he do it that way?
I'm good today.
I don't know. I still can't believe Belichick gave him $10 million, because I don't think he needed to give him $10 million. I believe Antonio wanted to try to come there and be a star on the best team. But I believe he's more about starring than winning.
Yes.
Because the key here is, do you really believe he'll just snap his fingers, Antonio, and he'll say, okay, I'm going to be a model citizen for the whole rest of this year all the way through the Super Bowl? Will he say, okay, I'm good to be a quiet cog? Will he say, I'm going to let them teach me how to be a winning football player?
Right.
The way you were?
Right.
No.
No.
I just don't see it.
Guys don't want to become cogs when they still believe they're in the prime of their career.
Yeah.
Skip, he still believes if he's not the best, he believes he's a top 3 receiver. He, Julio, D-Hop, one of those guys, he feels he's in that mix. Those guys are not, I ain't cog. No. I'm not a tire, I'm an engine. And that's the way he feels.
Yep. Okay. So the first bad sign was he posted on Instagram yesterday sort of a caricature of himself sitting on a giant pile of money, greenbacks. Yeah. And the caption was, "The Patriot Way." That's the worst thing. That's the worst message you could send to Coach Belichick right now. That's the first indication of, no, not going to work, right? He's signaling them. He's telegraphing, I got my money, and now I'm your biggest star.
I want to
really
see. Because for the longest time, even when he said if somebody signs him, they're going to have to do things his way. They're going to have to play on his terms. I'm more than a football player. I'm a real person. So if you want to do business with AB, you're going to have to do things AB way. Well, that's the guy right there to put that theory to the test. Now, you say you're going to do things your way. You did things your way in Pittsburgh until they said, you know what? We can't stomach this anymore. Yep. And you tried to do things your way in Oakland. And Oakland let you get away with it. They said, you know what? We're creating a monster that if we let this guy get this guaranteed money, Skip, he might not show up until Sunday. Man, we just got to go ahead and even then, Skip, he issued a heartfelt apology. It was reported that he issued a heartfelt apology.
Oh, true.
Now, $30 million will make you give it a lot of apologies. $30 million will make you do a lot of things. But anyway.
You mean to Oakland?
Yeah, to Oakland.
I thought he apologized to the team.
Yeah. With Derek Carr and some of the captains behind him, supporting him. And then he gets a call from Coach Gruden that night. He releases that on his YouTube channel. And then he's celebrating, I'm free. When he learns he's been released.
I know.
I'm free. That's what's in the locker room right now. Skip, there's no such thing in sports as a lock because there's too many things that can go on. First of all, let's start with this guy. He's in that locker room now. And he's just, at any given moment, he had one of those days. Tom didn't throw him but 3 targets, and boom. You know, Josh Gordon, we wish him well. But what we've seen over the last couple of years, Skip, that's still a very likely impossibility.
Yeah.
Now we don't wish that on him, but we just got to deal with the issues as we see them right now. Tom Brady is 42. He's playing unbelievable. Knock on wood, nothing happens to him, Skip. But you know injuries. Nick Foles, we're going to talk about that, Skip. Just come on, how many guys got sacked yesterday, Skip? Got right back up and played the next series, the next snap. Well, Nick Foles took a hit, and he's going to be gone at the bare minimum 6 to 8 weeks.
Yep.
Because I had that injury. I had a compound fracture.
Did you?
I missed the last 12 weeks. So
I guess Nick Foles is tougher than you, right?
well, they thought
Such a
that
bummer.
it would heal quicker
Uh-huh.
if they didn't put a pin. See, I believe they're going to go in and they're going to put a pin in his,
probably
maybe put a plate over it. So we'll see how that turns out. Skip, there's too many things, but looking at it from what I just saw yesterday, the one team that can match them offense for offense is Kansas City.
Yep.
Skip, Kansas City's loaded. With those weapons, now, my homeboy ticked me off yesterday because he tried that no-look bull jive. He had Travis Kelce wide open for a touchdown, Skip, and he's looking like this, and he throws it over his head. Why? Skip, look, we practice one-hand catches in practice, but in the game, it called for two hands unless absolutely necessary. There was no reason for him to look this way and throw that way. He could have just looked because Kelce was wide open.
That was risky.
That's the only team, Skip, I believe, that possesses the firepower offensively. Because at the end of the day, Skip, you can play outstanding defense. Tom Brady's gonna get 20. He's gonna get 24 points. And if you have to go there, that's the bare. You're gonna have to probably get to 27 in order to beat them.
Okay.
Kansas City has that kind of firepower. Now, it'll be without Tyreek for a couple of, but Sammy Watkins is special. And lo and behold, guess what? Buffalo couldn't use him, but the Chiefs found a good use for old Shady McCoy. Didn't he look good yesterday, Skip?
He did.
And they got Williams, so they got Kelce. Hartman, even though he didn't have a big day, but you know it's just a matter of time. And Andy, the plays they were coming up with, how they found a way. I'm like, how is Sammy Watkins wide open on a wheel route? Of all the people on the field, Skip, you leave that guy uncovered. But there are no locks because they had a nice little combination, maybe, Skip. But when you bring that guy into the mix,
Yep. The team I saw last night looked like a lock to me.
yeah. But you didn't see the other guy on the field, though, yet.
No, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
okay.
They all talked about him, and they're all welcoming him with open
Right.
arms. And Tom Brady reportedly has asked him to, or invited him to stay with the Bradys until he finds a place.
Now I got to have my,
Okay.
got to get I'm getting a metal detector. I'm checking.
Okay.
You got a bug on you.
So now we've seen Antonio violate 3 trusts that you cannot violate. The first one was in the locker room at Kansas City 2016. After a playoff win, he goes Facebook Live, and you can hear Mike Tomlin screaming about those somethings up in New
Yeah.
England, right?
Yep.
Remember that?
They got a head start on
Yeah,
us.
they got a head start on us, so you went live with that.
Right.
And then he posted what was supposed to be a private conversation with his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, and he went live with that on a podcast, really.
Yeah.
And then, to your point, he even did it to John Gruden the other night. And again, it looked like he just wanted to make it the last straw to make sure he got out of Oakland. But
And
then,
you forgot the one with the Steelers, where Art Rooney met him at a hotel, at a private jet terminal,
The airport, yeah.
talking about, okay, B, we're gonna move on. Let's just keep this on because Skip, once he did that, he decreased the Steelers' ability to get something for him. Yeah, I had a great conversation. He's posted, Skip. He's smiling with Art the second, and then guess what? Yeah, we decided we need to part ways.
okay. So if he'd gone radio silent yesterday and we just didn't see him post anything, like he's going to just leave social media be for the next 4 or 5 months, it's just who he is.
Yeah, he need that, Skip.
He's the ultimate self-promoter in this league. Business needs to be booming on social.
People think that alcohol and pills and marijuana and cocaine. Skip, there's another kind of drug that's even worse, called attention.
I agree with that.
That boy has an addiction to attention.
Yep.
It drives him, it feeds him, he needs it.
I hadn't thought of it that way.
Yep.
The social media addiction itself. He's
So-
constantly on it.
I believe Gronk is going to try to come back in November or something.
You believe it?
I still believe it. And let's just do the hypothetical. If he comes back and N'Keal Harry, the first round receiver that Bill Belichick has ever taken, and he looked like a flat-out stud in preseason action until he hurt his foot. He's going to come back after 8 games, and that will make them even better. But there's only one football, obviously.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden, I saw last night things that shocked me. I saw Philip Dorsett get deep, and he timed 4.33 coming out of the U, And Antonio timed 4.47. So he's a little
Skip,
faster.
I think he might have been faster than that. I think he made 4.29 in one of his.
You know,
Really?
Chris Carter has told me before that he thinks he's more in the 4.2.
Yeah, I think he
Okay.
ran 4.29 at the
Well,
combine.
that was the first flash of, they're on the same
yeah.
wavelength now. Oh, okay.
He can run.
Okay. So Antonio's obviously a lot quicker than Phillip
Yeah.
is coming out of his cuts.
He's more of a route runner. He's more of a polished receiver than Phillip Dorsett.
Okay.
Phillip Dorsett does one thing really well: run. And Coach Belichick says, okay, if the guy can just, why are we trying to teach him how to run outs and comebacks? Let's just let him go deep.
Yeah. So did Edelman look like he lost a little ounce of quickness last night? Nope. Did you see anything that you didn't like from James White or Burkhead as receivers? Can they catch it? Yeah, they can really catch it and gash
Absolutely.
you, right?
Yep. And Burkhead
Okay.
came in running the ball
Okay.
late,
Okay.
gashing them in the run game.
And they found somebody with Jacoby Myers, that kid, and he made a nice catch over the middle where he took a shot,
Right.
held on. Okay, so you got that. And we talked about Josh Gordon. He doesn't look like he can run the way he used to, but he tries hard, plays hard, runs hard after catch, and Brady loves him.
Yep.
So all of a sudden, they look like a tour de force last night against a Pittsburgh defense that I thought was going to be decent. Nope.
That's always
He got dismantled.
That's always my hang up with them,
Okay.
Skip, is
All
their
right.
defense.
Okay.
They don't generate
All right.
pressure, and their back end isn't very good.
So now you're going to try to blend AB and his ego into that mix that already looks pretty good and might get Gronk and N'Keal Harry back. I don't know. Then what happens?
I'm still trying to figure out why Tom would invite him to stay, but that's just me. Seems
But
a little
that's Tom,
risky.
you know.
That's just you know what I'm saying? Jenny, I'm saying that. You know what, Jenny? You know, I do that a lot. You know, people like, hey, man, we ought to get together. I'm like, man, don't you call me? You know what I'm saying? People, you skip. You know, people say that. Somebody come to your house.
Hey.
Come back again soon.
Come on over.
You can come stay with me.
Yeah.
Good to know. It's not real if it's coming from him.
I wish I might.
And then when AB rings the doorbell, Giselle's going, really?
What?
This guy?
Really?
Oh, that's just a figure of speech.
Oh.
Well, I don't think AB is welcome at your house anytime soon. I feel like that's probably not going to happen. So Tom looked great. Dak also looked great. One, I'm happy to say that. But where will he rank among QBs when this season is all said and done? Michael Vick is here. Let's hear what he
can't
has to
wait
say
for
about his performance next.
No mercy.
The Cowboys had no problem opening up the season with a 35-17 win against the NFC East rival Giants. Ezekiel Elliott ended up with 53 yards and a touchdown, but the day was all about Dak Prescott. Dak had over 400 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, and a perfect passer rating, all while he continues to negotiate for a contract extension that Jerry Jones said after the game was, quote, imminent. We're now joined by Fox Sports NFL analyst Michael Vick. Good morning. Good morning.
Can't
So,
wait for this.
we got to ask you about Dak. Will he be a top 10 quarterback by the end of the season?
I think Dak can be a top 5 quarterback.
Whoa, yes.
There you go, Mike.
Keep
See?
talking.
Listen,
Gonna
I
like
mean,
that.
Keep talking. You know, I'm going to
just
lay out
look at
the
it.
rest
Take
of the
it out?
show.
All
You do it once, you can do it again. And Dak has done it over and over and over again. And with, immense amount of pressure, week 1, contract hanging in the balance.
Yep.
You know, to go out there and be that accurate, that efficient, the ball distribution was on display. He looked like he was in the top 5 right now. But look, the ceiling is high for Dak, and he's going to continue to get better. And, you know, with the coaching staff around him in, year 4, is year 4 correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knowing Dak probably has, the ultimate amount of input where he can, pretty much put a game plan together himself. I think him and Jason Garrett can, sit down and talk about what really works. And, when you get to that point, it makes the game really easy for you. And I think the biggest caveat is Ezekiel Elliott being on the field. 2 deep defenses was just getting it was getting exposed yesterday. Off the play action.
Yeah.
And that's the reasoning for having Zeke there. That's his impact that he has when he's on the field. And they're only going to get better. It's just week 1. And once he gets paid, he's really going to be motivated. So I'm excited to watch this Dallas Cowboys team, throughout the duration of the season. And I will say this as of right now, into the playoffs. They're a very talented team.
Yeah, what say you, Shannon Sharpe?
See, Michael, baby.
Can't wait to hear this.
The thing is, I'm looking at, okay, Brady, my homeboy, Breeze, Rodgers, walking to him, and Rivers. That's 6
Who's
guys.
walking to him?
You know who that is.
don't know who
Oh,
that
walking
is.
to him, Wentz.
Huh? Oh, you mean
Carson walking to him.
listen.
You see what he did to D-Jack yesterday?
Oh, the Eagles
Yeah.
quarterback. I forgot about him.
Oh, walking to him. And D-Jack still can run, can't he, Mike?
D-Jack still can run. I called him right after the
Yeah.
game, like, bro, you still got it.
Yeah,
That's been his argument all year. Like, they say I got it, I still got it.
I tried to tell Skip Bayless that anyway. He ain't gonna be top 5, Mike. You got carried away. I mean, I understand. Sometimes
that's
you
my
go
optimism.
You go to a new restaurant and the food tastes like, oh man, it's the best barbecue I ever had. No, good and well, you done had barbecue better than that, but that's just the barbecue you eat
doubt.
right now. And so what you just saw yesterday, you saw Dak 400 yards, 25 completions, and they're like, woo, boy. The Giants, you can throw for 350 right now against that Giants defense.
I mean, but this is the NFL.
That defense bad.
Get that.
The defense bad, though, Mike. Was the defense bad? Yes or
Man,
no?
it's still Janoris Jenkins out there.
He ain't gonna cover one
I'm trying to
person.
think of.
Okay, they can let go. The Giants defense last year was the worst defense in the NFC East. And they lose Olivier Vernon and they lose Landon Collins. So how do they get better? And you play in cover 2 because you want to stop the run so you don't want Zeke to get off. Well, you got Ogletree stepping up. Bro, you got 2 deep. You got the hole. Why are you worried about the run? That's not, if they run the ball, you say, Coach, you need to call another defense so I can come downhill. But in this defense right here, I got whole responsibility. He taking the play fake, Randall Cobb right behind him, taking the play fake, Coop right behind him. Come on. Skip, you stop there. This is one thing. You coined the term prisoner of the moment. Now that's what you become. You become the very thing that you ask people not to do.
Is it my turn?
No, it's not your turn. I didn't tell you could go out and say what you did. You coined the term prisoner of the moment. Yes, you did.
And I'm not one.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And what you ask people not to do, Skip Bayless has come the very thing he hated the most in a person. See something, oh, that's the best thing I've ever seen before in my life. Come on, Skip. You know the Giants, Skip, I'm not saying what I like to see is a quarterback, when you're supposed to do something, you go do it. The Cowboys didn't make this a nip-tuck ball game.
That's true.
They're the much better football team than the Giants. And they was on display. But you go overboard. Now you got the guy. So in other words, do I need to call Blair Buswell? He's the guy that makes the bus for the Hall of Fame. Do I need to call him?
Maybe.
And tell him to come
Right.
to get the...
You could give him a little heads up.
I ain't get no hands up. I ain't get no hands up. No. No.
My turn?
Yes.
Thank you.
Let's hear it.
I want to explain to those out there who might have forgotten, this man could really play quarterback. He gave me as a fan, some of the most electrifying moments I've ever had on my couch. The Michael Vick experience in Atlanta and the first
Full
year.
display.
The first year in Philadelphia, there was that one Monday night game. Whew,
That was against
I get
Washington.
chills.
That was against Washington.
Yeah.
So this guy's been there and done all that, and he knows how hard it is to play quarterback in this league.
The only reason I say what I say.
That is correct. This young man was a tour de force yesterday. He showed you coming of age. But I've been telling you this since last year, because here's the point. Statistically, over the last 10 games last year, he was a top 5 quarterback already. And you kept saying, no, no, no. And I kept saying, the stats are screaming, yes, yes, yes. Once he got Amari Cooper, he took off. And all of a sudden, he's got beyond Amari Cooper because Michael Gallup he's come of age. You could just see it on full display yesterday. He has a bona fide, legitimate number 2 receiver who can get behind people.
run.
And I told you all offseason, Randall Cobb is an upgrade over Cole Beasley. And I love Cole Beasley. And he's great in little zing routes, little in and outs, little 5-7 yard 3rd and 5 gains. But Randall Cobb can run past people.
Yeah.
We saw it on opening night a year ago when he caught the winning touchdown pass for Aaron Rodgers.
Finally, he looks healthy.
Okay, he looks healthy because he can run, and you can do things with him out of the slot that make you. He's like a sort of a 2A receiver. He's like maybe another number 2 kind of receiver.
Yeah.
Now you have weapons that over the final 6 or 7 games, when Zeke was out in 2017, Dak had nobody that he trusted and loved. And last year, until Amari came, he had nobody he trusted and loved. Then he takes off, and over the last 10 games, and you will not acknowledge this or embrace it, he led the NFL in completions. He led the NFL in postseason QBR. He was tremendous in both the 2 playoff games, but you won't buy in because you're dug in, and you're just going to have to sit over there and eat crow. And crow, I hope you like your crow. What do you like on it? Barbecue sauce? What do you
You're
like?
talking big. You're talking big. You're talking real big now.
Yeah,
I'm talking real big.
I've been talking big since last year.
But guess what?
They went 8-2 down the
they're
stretch
backing
because
it
of
up.
this
Yeah,
guy.
He's talking big because guess what? He has Washington on the schedule, and he has Miami in 2 weeks, who just gave up 59. So he's talking real big and bad. But I want you to have that
Then
same
we
type
got
of energy.
at Drew Brees. And
Yeah.
we beat Drew Brees
I
last year.
need that energy. That was last
Yeah,
year.
you'll get it.
NFC is
You'll
tough
get it.
right now.
And I want you to have the energy. When you play walking to him, when you play the Patriots, that's the kind of energy
Did I have it
need.
last year? They walked it right to him last year twice.
He
They
healthy.
beat him twice.
Did you see him? Did
And
you
wait
see-
a second. My quarterback in the 2 fourth quarters against Philly last year and 1 overtime, he threw for 331.
Yeah,
That's a lot of yards. 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. 24-28. He just put on just displays of
He
greatness.
was hurt, but he's not hurt, and he got D-Jack.
Oh, okay.
And D-Jack can take the top off because, Skip, you saw what Eli was doing with y'all? Eli was throwing to Latimer and Fowler that the Broncos waived. That's who he's throwing to.
Is Evan
now he
Ingram-
got D-Jack.
Is Evan Ingram
Well,
any good?
Oh, yeah, but I love him. I love him coming out of college. Oh, but D-Jack and Alshon and Ertz.
It's got
and Goddard.
weapons.
It'll be
No.
a good matchup.
No.
Both
Be a good
teams will be
matchup.
primed and ready for each other.
Prime and ready.
At that time.
Y'all need to
Okay.
come see us.
You know,
Really?
the thing I think about when I mentioned what I said about Dak and just his transformation in 2017 when it was really tough, you know, when he didn't have weapons,
And he didn't have Zeke.
and he didn't have Zeke.
And he didn't have
It
his left
still
hand.
didn't look as bad. He still looked like he had potential to be what he looked like yesterday. And then you give him a number 1 receiver. You continue to build on the offensive line, bring Zeke back, and then he shows his full potential. I look at potential. You know, I look at the opportunities that's going to come about down the road, where he'll be able to put on a bigger stage, and I just think he can handle it right now. I mean, he's on another
Shannon.
stratosphere as far as where he's at
He
mentally
took it
as a
up a
quarterback.
level. I don't care if he was playing a college defense.
I don't care
Oklahoma's
less.
defense.
From a quarterback
Yeah.
standpoint.
Of course not. You want them numbers. I mean, the thing is, you get a fish, what you do? You catch him, take him to the market. Yeah, so they had a fish on the line. You know, Mike, you don't see, we got fish out here today.
Shannon, what did your
Just don't
eye-
let him get off the
what did
line.
your eye test tell you?
My eye test said the Giants were terrible. That's what my eyes
The thing
told
about
me.
this, Shannon, the bomb he threw to Gallup on the left side, the one that dropped in the bucket,
Oh, I look, and the
that ball could have easily sailed out of bounds.
But
Been incomplete.
we-
Accuracy issue.
So we ain't gonna talk
It
about
didn't.
we ain't gonna talk about the DB up there in the press
I knew you
position
was gonna say something
open
about the corner.
and open the gate. Hold on, you know what, Mike? I'm glad you brought that up. Did you know 12 of his 25 completion had 2 yards or more separation? So let me ask you a question.
That's a credit to the receivers.
Weapons.
What about the DBs? Can you get closer to 2 yards?
Wait, who's your favorite DB? He
speak
still
to the
plays for
DBs.
the Giants.
Oh,
What about Janoris
Jenkins
Jenkins?
was out there.
Randall
was he
Cobb.
out there?
Randall Cobb touchdown. He was 7 yards clear. Blake Jarwin was 5. Jason Witten 3 yards. Hell, if you hold on, I guarantee you right now, if you know you're gonna protect me, because Dak didn't even get hit. Dak didn't get sacked one time. If
He
you-
got hit a bunch of times.
Stop it.
On that throw that dropped in the bucket, go play that tape again, see if you didn't get blasted.
That little that didn't hurt. But hey, all I'm telling you is, if you let me have 25 attempts and I'm only gonna get hit twice, and the receivers, half of them gonna be 2 yards or more open, I guarantee you I give me some completion. I guarantee
Yeah,
you.
no doubt. Better.
But hold on,
Practice all week,
I
you know the game
ain't
plan.
played quarterbacks in high school. I graduated with 86, Skip. That last time I played quarterback, I go out there right now. At 51 years of age, 47, I could be Tom Brady playing
me
if
tell
they
you.
could play like that.
It's not that easy.
It is not.
Yes.
It's that
not
easy.
that easy.
Making
It's
it
that
sound
easy.
Like it is.
It's that easy.
Are we getting this on tape? I want to be
If
sure.
it
know
was
if
that
it's that
easy,
easy.
I'll come back.
Yeah,
No, don't do that.
exactly.
Don't do that.
Everyone would be making a return.
They can't hit you now, Mike. They can't do nothing.
I'll come back.
They can't
For
do
that reason
anything.
alone.
Skip, okay, Skip, I get it. He had a great day throwing the ball, and that's what you want to see.
I tried to tell you the whole offseason. He finally got a play caller that he's tight with, that Kellen Moore, that they're like soulmates. They're very close. And all of a sudden, you could see him going to the sideline, just high-fiving with him, hugging with him.
Jerry was happy
It
about
looked
that.
In 3.5 years, this how many 300 and 400-yard games he got in 3.5 years.
It looked like he picked up where he left off last year.
It sure did.
With an
And,
L.
as a coach, that's all you can wish for.
That what a walking tour look like to me.
You know what? The Cowboys used to
We'll
be
see.
0-7 when Zeke
15
went
more
for
games to play.
75 yards, and now what, Shannon? Now what? They're 1-7.
Zeke was just chilling yesterday.
he was
but
just
you'll see the Zeke game.
He was-
By game 4, game 5, you'll see the real Zeke.
Okay.
See it?
We saw Cabo Zeke.
He didn't need him.
Michael, thank you so much for joining us. You brought up Wakachuma a few
Don't walk it.
times there, and we really haven't talked about our guy Carson Wentz enough yet. He did get it done yesterday, but just how good did Philly look, and what does that mean for the Cowboys?
Y'all in trouble.
We'll go there next.
No mercy.
The Eagles found themselves in a hole early, trailing the Redskins 17-0 well into the second quarter. But a 51-yard strike from Carson Wentz to Deshaun Jackson finally got the Eagles going and sparked a 32-3 run. Wentz ended up with over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 of which went to Jackson on the way to a 32-27 victory. Washington faces Skip's Cowboys week 2 while Philly will travel to Atlanta. So, Shannon, how impressed were you with the Eagles?
Oh, it's walking. Oh, Skip, you see that? Now people get an understanding of why I call him walk it to him. Because a 51-yard bomb was like a handoff. I didn't know did he just hand that ball off to DJ?
I didn't think that at all.
I know what you
I
do.
let the ball fly like half the football.
No, it's like he just walked it down there and put it in his arm.
Really?
That's the guy I've been trying to tell you about, Skip Bag. Glad right. That's the guy I've been telling you about when he's healthy.
Yeah.
That's why everybody keeps talking. This is why all the players keep saying this is the guy in the NFC East. That is the best quarterback and will be the best quarterback for years to come. You saw that. I told you, D-Jack. That's the difference maker, a guy that can take the top off. You better get deep, and then you got Alshon working underneath. You got Ertz. You got Goddard. Whiteside, we didn't even need him yesterday. Miles Sanders. But Skip, did you see the movement? There are a couple of throws that we saw from walk it to him. And this is why you never tell a guy, look, you can't do this, you can't do that. Yes, he had a knee injury 2 years ago, had a back injury last year, but you watch him, how he shuffles in the pocket and gets this ball to Alshon. DJ, drop that track for me right quick. You know, Skip, I don't know the question video, but look at this.
Oh,
Watch
really?
It. Watch what he does, Skip Bayless. You see this, Skip Bayless? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Watch this, Skip.
Nice play.
Climb. Slide. Slide.
I love that you pulled the footage.
Left.
How could the DB not get a hand on it?
Don't do that, Skip. Don't do
He's
that.
all over it. Oh, it's the linebacker. That's why.
Yeah, that's what we call the Cupid shuffle. When you step up, slide left.
Yeah. I thought he said he's not going to run.
That's what you said. He didn't say that. He said, y'all not finna rob me of my athleticism.
That looked good.
I thought Fearless said that.
No.
Dougie P?
This is Dougie P.
I thought he said he's not going to run much this year.
We just planted that seed out there because we know you'll take it in the growth. Nah. Skip, to be on all 100, I love what I saw offensively. But defensively, they had me concerned because I thought they let Case Keenum get comfortable early. And it wasn't until the second half that they started to dial up a little bit more pressure that they got him off the spot, and he ended up getting 7 points late in the ball game. But these teams, trust me, a lot of these teams are more talented than Washington. You can't be spotting them 17 points. Home, road, it does not matter. You need to come out with intensity, and I don't know what they thought. Maybe they're like, man, that team can't beat us, because that's not the type of intensity. If you have Super Bowl aspirations, you don't play like that ever, and especially at home. So I was concerned from a defensive perspective because I know they can be much better than that. Offensively, it took them a while to get going, but in the blink of an eye, 32 points just like that. Just like that. Save some because they're going to put 42 on Dallas.
Really?
Yep.
Want to bet on that right
Nope.
now?
Nope.
Thank you. Okay. By the way, speaking of Dallas, you bet 5 cases are going to miss the playoffs? You still feeling good about that?
No, Skip, we're not talking about
asking.
that.
I don't know.
There are plenty of times things can happen.
You better hope that Philly beats them twice and
Philly,
Washington beats them at least once.
Philly definitely get them twice.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. After they got Philly twice last year by Dallas, right? Filleted.
But not by that guy. I don't know who that guy was, but that guy right there.
Yeah. Well, he played quarterback against Dallas both times
was
last
hurt.
year. Oh, he was hurt.
Yes.
He has had some time to recover.
So I saw a different game yesterday.
Really?
I saw Carson Wentz get off to a really rocky start,
Yes.
and he was looking a little deer in headlights-ish, and was forcing throws, and he just gets that wild look in his eye, and he's sort of the opposite of Kyler Murray's poise. Kyler's just a raw rookie, playing his first NFL game, but he never seems to get hurried or worried, and Carson's always hurried and worried, and I'll give you this. He made 2 He-Man heaves to Deshaun Jackson. And by the way, if you look at Deshaun's history versus Dallas, he's played him a bunch of times, and he does not take the top off Dallas's defense. He just doesn't. He doesn't have big games.
Yeah, he did. But that was the one they started, Skip. Remember he on that Monday night game, he called it, he let the ball go before he got into the end zone? You remember that?
I do. Okay. But I can show you the long history, and we'll get there pretty soon on this show. He's never really gashed Dallas the way he just blows up some teams. But the point is, I sat back and I watched suddenly a game that was 17-0 visiting team. And the Hall of Famer across from me kept telling me that Case Keenum is garbage. He doesn't even deserve to be starting in this league. And I saw gutty little Case Keenum throw for 258 yards in the first half.
258 per half.
So I thought Dak had a great half, 256, but he had 258 at Philly.
Yeah.
At Philly,
Yeah.
256 on the way to 380 passing yards at Philly.
Yeah.
Wow.
So in other words, they had 124 in the second half.
Interesting.
That ain't good, huh, Jenny?
I think it's pretty good for anybody.
And then once Philly started coming with that pressure, what'd he look? Folded like a banquet chair at the end of the night. Yes, he did.
Well, I think Philly got a huge break because Washington's best defensive lineman is Jonathan Allen out of Bama. He's a St. Nick guy, and he hurt his knee. God bless him. I got to knock on wood for him. Late in the first quarter and did not return. I wouldn't mind him missing the Dallas game, but you never know. But the point was, all of a sudden, the huge middle, the centerpiece of their defensive line was missing, and all of a sudden the Eagles started to click a little bit. But they just wore Washington down physically. But I don't think they ever wore Case Keenum down and out because he was flinging it all over the lot. And it made me say, Philly's back 7. Really, well, let's just do their secondary. It's combustible.
Yeah,
it is
it is.
volatile. Hey, it gives up big plays. It goes up in flames when you least expect it. Did you see that Vernon Davis play?
Yeah.
Woo. And by the way, did you realize that yesterday Vernon Davis passed this guy named Shannon Sharpe on the all-time list?
What'd he do?
He passed you on the tight end receiving list.
Did you know that, Shannon?
Well,
He should have played 20 years.
Okay. Well,
But Skip, the one thing.
did Shannon Sharpe ever have a play like Vernon Davis made yesterday? I don't think so.
wasn't jumping in. No, I wasn't jumping in no air. That ground hurt. And the high you got up and
Really?
you come down on the boy.
Pretty come
Skip,
down.
the one thing that young man could always do and can still do is run.
Yeah.
He can run.
Big and he's good.
Yeah. So I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
But
You realize Jordan Reed couldn't play yesterday.
yeah, he got
Concussion.
He's been hurt. He stays nicked
Okay.
up. But that should have been a 4 touchdown for walking to him. They said it was a lateral and it ended up being a rush for Alshon. But that should have been 4
That
touchdowns.
was a lateral.
No, it wasn't.
It's
Skip. No, it
another
wasn't. No, it
Dougie
wasn't. No,
P
it wasn't.
special.
No, it wasn't.
It's
No, it
another
wasn't. No, it
Philly
wasn't. No, it wasn't.
special.
No, it wasn't.
It's backward pass.
special.
Come on.
No, it wasn't. No, it was not. That's
Oh,
okay.
So you want a cheap one?
No, we don't want no cheaper. We're gonna get. Guess what? We'll get 4 against the Cowboys, which will make it sweeter.
Really?
Yep.
You know what? As much as I have reservations about the Dallas defense, I have more reservations about your defense.
Oh, I was not pleased with what I saw from Washington, from Philly early in the ball game.
Yep.
Because they were just letting Case Keenum, if you just let him stand back there and pat the ball, well, that's with any quarterback. It's when you come with that pressure, when you come with that heat, turn that fire up on him.
We saw kind of a Minnesota miracle there yesterday. He brought him right back down and covered the spread.
That's
32 to
That's all
26.
you want. That little backdoor cover, that's a shame.
A little
These
backdoor
two.
Case Keenum coverage.
okay.
Now I
Yeah.
got to deal with him.
Nope.
And I'm afraid of him. I'm more afraid of Case Keenum than I am of whatever you call him.
Walk into
Limp
it.
it to him.
Whatever you call him, he's not limping anymore.
Nah,
That's
you
hard.
saw that. You see, he even climbed in the pocket when he hit D-Jack on the second touchdown. That knee is 100%. Back's 100%.
Yeah. Second touchdown was a little wide right.
No, it was
Didn't
perfect.
quite get there.
The safety was in the hole, so you fade him away, and you see D-Jack just going up in the end zone.
Well, he can catch it if you can get it there.
Yo, he'll get it. Oh, Walker Tool got a big arm. Big arm, way bigger than you know whose.
Was Xavier Woods on the field yesterday? Was Jeff Heath out there? Nope.
Either way.
Eli threw for like almost 400 on y'all.
Yeah, he did. I didn't love it.
That part we didn't love. I'm bummed we have to wait till week 7 till we see Cowboys Eagles. But we got to talk about a different guy because AB just keeps being the one to keep us going.
Yep.
Will he be able to fit with Brady and Belichick? Honestly, is it going to work? Mark Schlereth joins us to tell us what he thinks next.
No mercy.
Tom Brady showed no signs of aging with over 300 yards passing and 3 touchdowns in a 33-3 win over the Steelers. And Brady didn't even have newly signed All-Pro wide receiver Antonio Brown with the team yet. AB's agent said Brown is ready to buy into the Patriot way and to make it work during his time in New England. Joining us now is Fox Sports NFL analyst Mark Schlereth. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning.
So, all of the drama surrounding this guy, what do you think? Will AB fit with Brady and Belichick?
I saw something on Twitter. I don't even know who it was,
Yeah.
but I've got to give Twitter credit because they said he's a perfect fit. I mean, he illegally taped his coach. So, that's a match made in heaven right there. Joking aside, here's the deal. One thing about Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots and what makes them so good, and they are exceptional, is versatility. Their system is we don't have a system. Their system is we're going to do whatever it takes to win, and we're going to target your deficiencies. We're not going to sit there and lean upon our strengths necessarily. We're targeting your deficiencies. So think about this. A tight end-centric offense where the big plays were all through Gronkowski, and they've been a 2 tight end system for a long time. Last night, their tight ends, 2 targets, 1 catch, 3 yards. They go to the wide receivers. They're like, okay, this is where we're at. This is who we have. We're going to make this work. So is Antonio Brown, my question would be, is Antonio Brown okay with, hey, today, you know what you're going to do? You're going to lift the top of coverage today, and you're going to get 3 targets. You ain't getting 11, and that's just the way it is. Now, here's the thing he knows going in here, because he orchestrated. He hired a PR firm to help him get out of Oakland, okay?
Yeah.
So here's what he knows going in here. Bill Belichick does not suffer fools. And if you don't buy into the program, you don't get to play. And you know what? We'll win with you. We'll win without you. That's where they are right now.
They don't need you.
Right, we don't need you. So he's going into a situation where you better be okay with, hey, today, you know what? You got 2 targets. And you got to be happy about contributing to a victory. Are you ready? Are you mature enough? Can you handle that in this phase of your career? That's the question you have to ask yourself.
And your answer is?
My answer is absolutely not. I don't think he can do that.
I don't either.
I don't believe that for 2 seconds.
Okay.
Skip, I don't trust AB. You know I don't trust him.
You haven't from the start,
from day
2016.
Nope.
From 2016, you're absolutely right, because the Patriot way is selflessness. AB's way is selfishness.
That just pretty much sums it
Less,
up.
yeah, exactly.
does.
Less and niche. That's it with AB.
Yeah.
And like you said, Stick, the Patriots, what they do, I don't know what their offense is. It is whatever your defense isn't good at that day, that's what their offense is. It might be the receivers catching X amount of balls. It might be Sonny Michel and Rooks Burkhead rushing for 200 yards between the 2 of them. Whatever you can't stop that particular day, that's what you're going to get a heavy dose of. AB knows, since he went on this streak, he's the first and only receiver to have 6 consecutive seasons in which he caught 100 passes. But in that process, he averaged 170 targets a season. Coach Belichick, that's not going to happen. Even if he's not going into a game, Skip. They don't go into a game and say, you know what, Gronk? I guarantee you're getting 11 targets today. Or I guarantee you, Josh Gordon, you're going to get 11 targets. That's not what they do, because the defense might not dictate that. And they're not force-feeding anybody. I don't care if you Gronk. I don't care if you Corey Dillon. I don't care if you random. They don't force. No.
Unless they're playing to your weakness with the run game and they say, we're going to force feed whoever it is.
Right.
We're going to run it down your throat.
That's because you're
That's
deficient.
tactical.
Right.
That's
Right.
right. Okay.
He going to the game last year, Ben was going to throw him 12, 13 balls. Regardless, he could be double, he could be triple, he could be quadruple. Ben had to appease him by getting him the ball, or at least attempting to. And you said a very good, interesting thing. The Patriots don't need him. Everybody else had needed him. And they let him get away with it. And the very first time, for the first time in about 6 years, there's an organization that says, no, AB, you got to come to walkthrough. AB, you can't miss practice. If you miss practice, we're going to fine you. And once he was cool with the fine, but once he realized the fine triggered a conduct detrimental to the team, and that guaranteed money went away, he's like, whoa, darn, I can't play with this. Now I got to get up out of here. But that guy to the right, Coach Belichick, with that visor and them cut-off hoodies, Skip, he ain't about no bull jive. He ain't about foolishness. Now, you come in there if you want to, like I said. You don't check your ego at the door. You leave your ego in the city where you came from. Because, see, if you check it at the door, you might run back when you turn his back and get it and bring it in there. Coach Belichick ain't having that. I don't believe he can. Now, we're going to see, but I don't believe it.
Nor do I. And I picked the Patriots to win the Super Bowl, and I like their chances slightly less today than after what I saw last night, because they looked really good last night on both sides.
Both.
The only way I give this any hope is that one thing about Brady and Belichick is they're both watch this guys. Belichick has always been watch this NFL. I'll take Corey Dillon, who had some baggage, and I'll show you what I can do with him. And then he's had a long list of I'll be Al Davis East. I'll take the Renegades, and I'll show you in my system that they will keep their head down and nose to my grindstone, and they will be performers for me. They will be contributors for me. Tom Brady has been a watch this guy just in his own right, saying, look, at 42, I look like I'm going on 24, because every year he says, okay, watch this.
Right.
So now he's turned into, to me, the best leader in sports, because he's taken Josh Gordon under his wing and said, watch what I can do with Josh.
Right.
Josh is pretty good.
Right.
He's not what he used to be, but boy, does he not contribute? Did he not contribute last night? So those two, if anybody can pull this off, they can pull it off. But I just think Antonio is too far gone. And I thought it had a chance until I saw what he posted just yesterday on Instagram, which is the absolute worst sign that Belichick could get early on, which is a caricature picture, if we could see it real quickly, if you have it handy, of AB sitting in a caricature. It's just he's sitting on a pile of money, and the caption is, "The Patriot Way." Here we go. The Patriot Way.
Right.
That's the Patriot Way, because he got $10 million guaranteed, which shocked me. You know, if he had to crawl to New England and they said, we'll give you a minimum to play for us and prove yourself this year, I'd say, okay, maybe you got a shot. But now he's boasting about, because would he lose in Oakland? $30 million. Now you got $10 million guaranteed, and you're boasting about it. Business is booming again.
Who makes those, too?
I don't know.
Well, he's got a whole team, and you talked about leadership from Tom Brady. One of the things he's done for this organization is he has allowed himself to be coached. And in today's game, you have to.
He sets the tone.
Somebody has to allow. If he allows himself to be coached, if he allows himself to be dog-cussed by the head coach, guess what? Everybody has to fall in line. Here's what's interesting, because you talked about them on both sides of the ball. When I watch the Patriots play, they are the most precise. They are the most disciplined football team in the National Football League. From a technique standpoint, from a coverage standpoint, where guys are supposed to be, you hit your landmarks. If you're a hook player, you hit your landmark. You know, your back end or the backside of run, the shoulders square, squeezing, making sure they're there for the cutback, but don't get beat by the boot keep. I mean, they are the most disciplined team in football. And they have brought in one of the most undisciplined football players on the planet.
Off the field.
Off the field, right.
No, he's undisciplined on the field.
Well, you can make it. I mean, he runs disciplined routes. He's a good route runner, but he also throws Gatorade coolers.
Tom Brady not only likes to be coached, they coach him hard. What happens when you coach AB hard? When you put up the tape, because they say they put up the tape of Tom Brady when he makes mistakes. What happens when you put up a tape and AB loafing in a route?
Yeah, that's a good point. How's he going to respond to it? We're going to have to wait and see how this one plays out. I just don't know if it's going to be a long one. But, Mark, thank you for your insight. Always good to have you with us.
Good job yesterday with Kyler Murray's game.
Yeah, good stuff.
I'm telling you what, He's an exciting little dude, man.
We're going to have him back to talk
He
Kyler
is.
another day because I feel like we could go to a lot of places there.
Yeah.
Thanks again.
You got it.
Pat
You got it.
Mahomes,
Your
guys.
granddaughter?
Was it?
About the size of your granddaughter?
Shannon, that is rude.
Stop it.
We're talking Pat Mahomes
Oh, my
next.
bad,
Be
my bad,
nice
my
to
bad.
this
Okay.
guy.
My
And he
homeboy.
be the one to take down the Patriots. We'll go there next.
No mercy.
Well, Nick Foles' debut with the Jaguars didn't go as planned. Foles left the game with a broken clavicle, the same injury that knocked out Chiefs receiver Tyreek Hill yesterday. But, they didn't slow down Kansas City's offense and Patrick Mahomes. The reigning MVP threw for nearly 400 yards and 3 touchdowns en route to a 40-26 win over the Jags. So, Shannon, do the Chiefs look like a team that can beat the
My homeboy
Patriots?
ain't going nowhere. Oh, you thought it sound more slump. Well, not really ever get in the third year. But my homeboy ain't going nowhere, Skip.
Really?
Yeah, he here for the long
You
haul.
loved him before that draft.
See, there you go. See, why you always try?
Harsh.
He's my guy.
Well, he's
now.
your guy now.
Yeah, my guy now.
It's called jumping on bandwagon.
Whoa.
You've been on it for a while now.
Yeah, I've been on for a
Not
minute.
new.
I tried to get a bet last year, but the MVP, you didn't want to bet. Don't you know something? Somebody done told you something.
Well, somebody done.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Look, offensively, Skip, it's going to be hard-pressed. Even though the Patriots, even when they get all their weapons, it's going to be hard-pressed for them to be any better offensively than Kansas City because they got
I would agree.
They got a quarterback and they got 2 speed guys, 4-3 or below. You got Sammy Watkins. Now all of a sudden, Sammy Watkins looks to be finally healthy. Injuries that dogged him all of his Buffalo career. And even when he got to KC, Skip, he had that nagging foot injury. He looks to be totally healthy. I still believe Kelsey is the best tight end in football.
Yeah, could be.
Now you got Williams that can run the ball. You got Shady McCoy in the backfield. But Skip, the defense still. And it's sometimes it's easier because when the defense prepares, Skip, it's preparing for a particular guy. Nick Foles is the guy. Nick Foles is a 6'6" pocket passer. He's not going to move very little. Then they knock Nick Foles out of the ball game, and Minshew, I think that's his name.
Yeah,
Skip,
Minshew.
he comes in, Skip. He moves around.
He does.
He's not stationary. And he goes, 22 or 24, 23 or 25. And I'm like, what? We'll see what happens next week when they get tape on him. But Skip, I think they will get better and better defensively. But offensively, they have the firepower because at the end of the day, Skip, the likelihood of you holding New England to 10 points in a game anywhere, their building, your building, is not very good.
I agree.
You're going to have to be in the 30s in order to beat them.
Yep.
And they have the firepower to be able to do that.
You realize you lost your best receiver yesterday, Tyreek,
Yeah.
for, they say, weeks, but we don't know how many weeks.
Right.
Could it be half the year?
Those are hard.
Could he come back? He's got a shoulder injury. I don't know. Mecole Hardman was a terrific draft choice by then. He got 1 target yesterday, didn't catch a pass, so we'll see how that all shakes out. And by the way, my homeboy hurt his ankle, but he's okay.
He's fine.
You
He's fine.
think he's
He hurt that thing in the first half, and they didn't miss a beat the second half.
Okay, we'll see about that. So, my first thought is, whatever happened to Jacksonville? Because the last I saw Jacksonville, they were up going to the fourth quarter at New England in the AFC Championship game 2 years ago,
You see
right?
what you're saying?
Yeah.
You said, what happened to Jacksonville? It used to be Saxonville.
Oh, well, Tom Brady left them for dead, didn't he?
Yes.
They've never been the same since
They have
that
not.
moment, right?
Miles Jack's getting thrown out, it's like once a season, he gets thrown out of a ball game. And then Skip, he wouldn't leave the field. I mean, he falling on the, dude,
like
what?
that,
Get on off the field. The man said you've been ejected. Now, the NFL going to send you another check because you didn't leave the field. You fined for getting kicked out.
Yep.
And they're going to fine you again because you didn't leave the field in a timely manner.
So, silly me, I thought the Magic Man, Nick Foles, had a little bit of a shot yesterday against the visiting Chiefs. And what happens as he throws the touchdown pass that cuts it to 10-7? Chris Jones happened, and he fell right on top of him. There it is. And, it's a good throw by the Magic Man. And I thought that was illegal.
No, it's not.
I thought it was you can't just fall with your whole body weight on a quarterback's shoulder because guess what? It's going to break. Something's going to break. That's why last year early in the year, they're just flagging that every time. And defenders are going, I can't stop myself. Yeah, you can.
No, you can't.
You can learn just to fall off. Just fall
I ain't
left
gonna
or fall
I ain't
right.
gonna separate my shoulder, break my collarbone trying to save you.
Yeah, but you're going full speed. It's the most unfair play in football. He is a sitting duck with his eyes down the field. He can't even see you coming. And you're coming full speed at 300 pounds, and you're allowed to just go full body weight on top of him.
That's why they
and
make
knock
the
him out
big
of the
bucks,
game.
Jenny.
See,
that's why you make the big bucks.
That's the old NFL. That's what's wrong with the new NFL.
So
that's the one where you say Tom Brady couldn't have lasted. Yeah, because you can cheap shot him.
That was a cheap shot. Were you at the game?
That was a
where
cheap
Goose,
shot.
Where Goose got Rich Gannon?
Yeah, I know. Cheap shot.
Such a bummer because we wanted to see the potential. And
Does
the
that cut it
excitement
to
surrounding what he
10-7?
could do.
Crowd's into it, and all of a sudden he's gone.
Yeah, that's
But Skip.
Okay, great.
Okay, they cut it to 10-7.
Yeah.
But that defense.
Well, who knows what might have. Maybe they've been inspired.
So they wasn't. So now Nick Foles bringing inspiration.
Well, that Philly defense got inspired by Nick Foles.
They got
right?
inspired. No, they got inspired by Walker. He's not there right now. Let's see what he's gonna do in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
But we saw the Chiefs get 31 in the second half in the championship game against Coach Belichick defense. We know they're gonna
explosive.
be. You're gonna have to score 30 to probably beat them, or high 20s. We saw. I think. Who was that? San Diego beat them last year. I think it was 28, 29, something like that.
Yeah.
But you got to score a bunch of points to beat them.
Yeah.
They'll get better. I believe Frank Clark and Tyrann Mathieu, they will get better. Chris Jones, they'll get better as we go along.
Just getting started. Still a quarterback we got to talk about, guys. Lamar Jackson had a game for the ages yesterday, but our Skip and Shannon believers. That's next.
No mercy.
Time for our final topic of the day. Lamar Jackson put on a show yesterday. Lamar threw for over 300 yards with 5 touchdowns, only 3 incomplete passes to lead the Ravens to a 59-10 win over the Dolphins. Lamar jokingly said his performance was, quote, not bad for a running back. I like that.
Love that.
After the blowout, several Miami players reportedly told their agents to request trades, but guys, still 59 points is a 59 points. So, Shannon, how surprised were you by Lamar Jackson's performance?
I was surprised that he threw the ball that well. Now, I don't think he's this good of a passer, but I do believe he's much improved over what he was last year, Skip. And before we go any further, maybe Brian Flores can play some Jay-Z songs to see if his team can handle adversity.
Like that.
Yeah.
Touche.
Yeah. Skip, look, he was phenomenal yesterday. Hollywood Brown played 14 snaps, targeted 5 times, 4 catches, $147, and 2 touchdowns. Skip, let's be real. He's not going to throw the ball like this every game. But if he can throw the ball better than what he threw it last year with his ability to run the ball and make people miss, and they can run, and they're going to play defense. Now, the one thing you know about the Ravens, they're going to play defense. Their defense will keep them in a lot of ball games. But if he can throw the ball markedly better than what he threw it last year, this could be a dangerous team. While we were talking about Pittsburgh and Cleveland, the purple and black, not to be messed with now.
Yeah, you're right.
They will be dangerous. Just for perspective, Miami has completely mutinied.
Yes.
They quit yesterday. So,
Well, they said that, Skip, if he traded a tackle, there was going to be a mutiny. Yeah.
Now they're all asking for trades, and it's the ugliest situation.
It is.
Not in the NFL and pro sports right now is that situation. But still, the shock to me is Lamar ran 3 times for 6 yards. I thought he was going to run 20 times for 105 yards, right? Because that's what they did last year.
Right.
And I guess they thought we don't need him to run against this defense. But the beauty of what he did yesterday was he threw deep balls to Hollywood Brown at night. Jenny and I know.
I'm so happy
listen,
for this
listen. This kid can flat out fly.
Yes.
And he kind of went OU yesterday because Mark Andrews, the tight end, caught a bunch of balls. So
Yes.
those two are going to make Lamar's
Yes.
life a lot easier.
Right.
And it's not the prettiest pass that he throws, but he's got a strong arm,
Yes.
and it gets where it's supposed to go.
He threw it great yesterday.
He threw it
Skip.
great.
He had zip,
Yeah.
he had zip on the
Zip
ball
on
and
it,
everything.
and he threw
Yes.
the deep balls and hit him right in stride.
But 59 points, Skip. 59, you give up 59 points at home. There's only like 45 people in the stands, and they were family members.
And now Antonio Brown gets to go home to
Family
Miami,
members.
right?
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.